on in the building, family? We got a powerful show today. Brother J Rich. Powerful topic. Come on into the building.
Real truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power.
All right, family, welcome to the show, Real Truth and Power Live. We'll be having two shows going together as I got my brother J Rich coming on from Seriously Joking. So you know how we do. We got some powerful topics to discuss. We'll start the show right after this.
You are now tuned in to Real Truth and Power, the show that uplifts the community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Here's your host, Everett Winchester.
All right, man, welcome to the Real Truth and Power Live. Please hit that subscribe button. You know how we do. We got a powerful show. We haven't streamed live in a while, so hopefully no technical difficulties. Man, today's topic, are black people worse than they ever were? Let's get into it right now. I got a powerful co-host, Brother J Rich. Let me bring him into the fold. My brother, how you doing? How you doing?
Hey, peace, fam. Raise first, my man. How you feeling today, man? I'm energized right now, man.
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. Before I start, I wanted you to watch this video. Before we get in it, the topic is are black people better? Are black people worse than ever? And I'm not sure you're aware of the deputy. He was a deputy that killed himself. I want to play. I'm gonna play a little brief video for everybody, so we can just get a point of where I'm going at with here. Let me play this video right now.
I've had enough of all of this nonsense of serving a system that does not give a damn about me or people like me, or just about life in general. And this is my statement. If this isn't something to state that this killing that's going on, especially by the police, which I am, I can't abide by this no more. I'm not having anything to do with this nonsense anymore. Call me what you want, try to discredit me. I have been a stellar deputy in this 5+ years that I've been there. My last eval's been sent. It's copied to somebody. I can't be discredited. Never so much as one write-up for maybe some reports being late. None whatsoever. So it can't be said that I was a shammer or anything like that, or I wasn't pulling my weight. And just for contextual purposes, I just want y'all to understand where and what I'm coming from. My entire life has been in service of other people. And it's just dawned on me that this time, as of now, needs to be seized because you don't really give a damn about us. That is the truth.
Man. So for those that don't know, this brother committed suicide. He killed himself. So I gotta ask, are we better than we were? Are we worse off than ever? This is a brother that he said he's given his life to the community. And he just got tired of the racism and seeing it from a police officer standpoint. Talk about that, Brother J. Rich. What you think about that?
I can see the frustration and everything else, but going as far as just as killing yourself, man. Yeah, that was it's sad, man, because as the video goes on, he's talking about how he was talking to his son and how to deal with law enforcement and everything. And then to turn around and to take your life, man, you're not there, you're saying that the system doesn't care anything about you, but you left your son hanging, man, you know what I mean, to fend for himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? In the system that you already know how to navigate.
Exactly.
You know? So man, it's a real sad situation, man. And I'm surprised there's not more black officers that are stepping up saying, hey man, you know what? There's something wrong. There's something wrong with this with the way that this police force is being run.
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted because, that's a hard job. I could never be a police officer. I could never oversee my people. That's tough enough for me. But when we deal with the fact that this brother was trying to do the job and he said he couldn't do it anymore, it pushed him to the point that he killed himself. Racism pushed itself to the point that he killed himself. That's just crazy. I'm just still shocked by that. And I'm watching him talk on the video. He seems like a good brother. Like he said, only thing I probably did was turn in my papers late, but I'm sick of this. What do you think the state of the black people dealing with just a police officer standpoint, trying to just do a job? What do you think of that mentality you have to have and where that brother's mentality was?
Well, last year, PG County police officers, black police officers actually sued the police force because they had gotten in the police chief, and it was just like no black officers were being promoted. No matter how long they were on the job, no matter what their position, they weren't being promoted, and people that complained were getting demoted. There was a Hispanic cop that turned in one of his fellow officers, and he got stripped of his rank. And it was things like this that was going on for like about 4 years. It was all through like the Washington Post last year. And they filed a class action lawsuit against PG County. So my thing is this, that if you are in a police force that racism is shown, to you as an officer within the force, and you're out on the streets and you are purposely going after certain communities, you have to stop and ask yourself, what, am I actually like a part of the problem that I'm actually complaining about? Because I already know internally that they're racist, and I already know externally that they're racist. For this brother, because of his rank and his position, he was a sheriff. He was very high ranking. My suggestion to him would have been either to go to a different police force or to get into training. If you really want to change it, then you have to be in a position where you are a policymaker. Killing yourself doesn't change the situation at all. It just makes it that much worse for your family.
Let me ask you this, because it seems like he went to a boiling point, though. We all, how we do. We let's keep it real. We talk about how the police officer is actually what he is. It's been from the plantations on. A police officer is an overseer. When you have a black policeman, he's pretty much an overseer. Officer, overseer. Talk about the mentality of the black cop. You got some good brothers that I know that are good guys. They help coach basketball. They good guys. But the stress, because it looks like this hit a boiling point for him to kill himself. How many times did this brother turn the other cheek is what I'm really worried about. It seems to me he turned the other cheek to a lot of white police or police brutality towards black people, and that seems to be bothering. What do you say to that?
Again, man, when you say that they're good guys, there's the guy that you know from coaching, and then there's the guy that you know what I mean, the guy you may not know that's on the job. You know what I mean? Two different people. It's just like the same person that you sit next to. You know what I mean? When you go to church, and that same person that you know what I mean could be the exact same person that you sitting next to at the bar. They two different people, man. You know what I mean? So one is, you know what I mean, this dude is relaxed. He's out of uniform. You know what I mean? You may be seeing, you know what I mean, the community him. You know what I mean? The real him. Or, you know what I mean? Once he puts on that uniform, he has to take on, like you said, a whole different mentality. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? There are thousands of cops out there that their family and their friends will say, oh, yeah, they're good people. But then you turn around and you talk to the people that they arrested, you know what I mean? They're going to tell you a whole different story. You talk to the people that they done beat down and planted guns on, you know what I mean? They're not that great. The people that they done rolled up on, you know what I mean, and planted drugs on, lied on the stand for, you know what I mean, lied on the stand against. Then now all of a sudden you're looking at somebody different, you know. You're looking at the person that's tasing you while you're cooperating. Right. You're looking at the person that's pulling you out of your car, telling you that, you know what I mean, that you got like a broken tail light, or you failed to put on your turn signal just so that they can, you know what I mean, search your car and see if you got anything. You know, people play roles, man. And the role that, you know, and I don't know the brothers that you know, maybe all around 360, they good guys, but I've come to the conclusion that if you see, hey man, the same junk they tell us, man. If you see something, say something, and if you're not, then you're part of the problem. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was real sad, man, because you know, it's like we're going through some type of revolutionary war, and a guy can't even just be a police officer and do his job, but to commit suicide, to go to that level. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I was young, trying to do the right thing, stay legal. I had a job, and I remember one time breaking down because I had to deal with this racist boss. There's nothing worse than that, because it's like you're not treated as a man. Things aren't really going your way, and you got to deal with this racism. And I mean, I wanted to kill this brother. I remember talking to my mother one time. She was like, don't quit. And you know the reason? My mother was like, quit. And the reason I didn't quit, because this asshole guy was like, yeah, I want you to quit so you can't get unemployment. The boss, the racist guy, told me that. I wanted to strangle him. You know, he was ready for that. What I did was I sucked it up. You know, like Ice Cube said, killing yourself the punk way out. So I just had to man up and do what I had to do to until I got another job. But the fact that, you know, we going through this type of, that this brother had to go through that at the level of being a police officer is crazy. Think about this. If he's going through it at that level, we talk about the Capitol insurrection. Think about all of those brothers that have to deal with that. You know, what side you playing? What do you think of that?
You know what? Let's go back a little further than like the Capitol. The whole Capitol thing, man, I think was a bunch of BS, man. And I found it very odd that officers were killing themselves over this insurrection, so-called insurrection. I just call it the incident, because you have police officers giving people tours of the Capitol. You know what I mean? That's not an insurrection. You had people, you know what I mean? You had police officers walking around asking people if they okay and if they need anything. You know what I mean? These are guests. These are guests at this point. Does the name Eric Garner ring any bells to you?
Right. So one of the brothers that got killed, right?
All right, and then maybe I got the man. You know I'm horrible with names, man. I have to
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That's one of the brothers that got killed, right?
The LA sheriff that made himself a hit list because he was tired of dealing with his racist co-workers, and he was going around and he was shooting them. He was laying them down, and they found him in like a cabin. If somebody out there that's watching this, man, and they know what this brother's name is, I mean, it played out like like a movie, man. This dude, you know what I mean? He complained. He put in complaints, you know what I mean, against his fellow officers, you know what I mean, the racist things that they were doing, the abuse, the overtime. He was the one that exposed, you know what I mean, police overtime that if somebody gets caught up on like a murder, then they all call their buddies to come that's about to get off so they can get overtime. And they come and they put tape around and they stand around for like the next 6 to 8 hours, you know what I mean, securing the crime scene. When all it really was, you know what I mean, them just securing themselves extra overtime. And he was just talking about all like the abuses that just take place within like the police force. And like this brother, he just snapped one day. But he didn't kill himself. He went and started knocking off his co-workers. And he had judges, that a list of judges that supported like this racist system. You know what I mean? That these cops. Yeah, man. He just went off. I wish I could remember this dude's name, man. But it was out in California. And they eventually found him in the woods in some cabin or something or whatever. And of course, they killed him because he even wrote a manifesto. And he put it up and he's explaining all like the stuff and why he was doing what he was doing and everything. So yeah, man, I'm quite sure, you know what I mean, that he's not the only, you know what I mean. Well, this is evidence that he's not the only cop that's feeling like the pressure from this. A lot of the other cops that feel like the same pressure and everything else are usually forced to resign, man. You know what I mean? If you actually, you know what I mean, want to be a good police officer and you really have like your heart in the community and you want to like, grew up like, oh, I just want to be a cop. I just want to make a difference. And then you get on the force and you find out that policing isn't about making a difference. Policing is about securing federal funds. Policing is about securing state funds. Policing is about keeping your county funds. Policing is about making money for the police. And not about crime at all, you know, because if before, you know, policing became about making money, policing was policing. But once, you know what I mean, the federal government started dangling like that drug money in front of them, like, hey, man, you know, if you get such amount of drug arrests, we'll pay you X amount of dollars for every arrest. It was no longer policing at that point, and it hasn't been since then.
Wow. We are live with Brother J. Rich. Haven't had him on the show in a while. If you guys are interested, I'm going to do something different today. I am going to put the link up and you could be part of the show. You could call in if you want. I'll take it down in a minute. If you want, copy that link, put it in, and you'll pop up and we can put you on. I think it's a way where you don't have to show your face. So you can try it. We're going to leave it up for a minute if those that want to just tune in. If not, you can always put your comments in. I want to leave that topic and come back to it. I want to ask you a question and let me go in before you answer the question.
Okay.
Is the black man in 2021 a sucker and a punk? And here's where I'm going to go at. You're aware of the white guy that beat up the sister. He's, what team was he? He was on the football player.
Seattle Seahawks. White guy told the sister, now he's saying he's a manic depressive, but he told the sister, bow down to me. He thought he killed the sister. When she woke up and came through, he said, you're still alive, wow, and went to break in the bathroom to beat her ass, excuse my language, some more. Des Bryant is the only black man that I know that has a lot of status and is popular. Des Bryant said when he sees this guy, he's going to beat him up. He's going to punch him in the face. My question is, are we allowing people to do this to our sisters?
Shouldn't there be a code no matter how bad the sister is, no matter if she's messing with a white guy, a black guy, whatever? You put your hands on a black woman, you get dealt with. What's going on with the black man? Are we too afraid? We pop off at each other. We're threatening each other. We're shooting, kill each other. But anybody can touch our mothers. Anybody can touch our sisters. Is the black man collectively now a suck in the community? I got to ask, brother, because shout out to Des Bryant. I'm going to call him a defender of the black woman. You know, he stood up and said, everybody was like, what's this got to do with you? No, I saw what he was saying. Yo, this dude put his hands on his sister. When I see you, I'm going to beat you up like you beat that black woman up. That's what he was saying. Let's put it out there. What do you think of that? Are we suckers now? Are we talking a lot of trash to each other? But when it comes time to unify, talk to a couple of brothers. Come on, you and I, man. I'm not into the black power stuff. Yeah, but our sisters can get beat up, slapped. We calling our sisters bitches and hoes, and we popping pills and rap music when we grew up the Public Enemy and Boogie Down Productions and righteous stuff. What's going on with the black man? What's going on with the brother? Are we that soft now? Or what's going on? Are we afraid to defend our community and our black women?
Chad Wheeler.
That's
is
his name. That's right.
Chad Wheeler. Des Bryant, like you said, man, so far has been the only dude that wants to step up, man, and deal with this guy. It's the same as the guy that beat up the woman in the parking lot over a parking spot. You remember that?
Say that again.
Pulled out a gun. You remember what was it, last year or the year before that? The white guy that beat the black woman up in the parking lot, all over a parking spot. He pulled out a gun and tried to pistol whip her in a parking lot.
Yes, I remember that.
Here's the problem, and yes. Some black men, yes, man, all suckers in the community, man. And yeah, no, they're not about defending the black women. You have people, and unfortunately, man, unfortunately, you have some people, man, that brothers that just don't like black women, period, man. You know, and that's a reality. And someone like these cats, man, that they pump up to be, you know what I mean, our so-called superstars or whatever, like in a rap game, outwardly, you know what I mean, talk about how they don't like black women, you know. So, like Rod Golden said, you know what I mean, don't talk about it, be about it, you know what I mean. Just do one of them Shaq Oster tag joints. Just walk up to them doing practice while they out on the field, man, and put your hands on it. The other part, you know what I mean, it's more complex than just, you know what I mean, has the black man, you know what I mean, turned into like a sucker. And I'll give you like a couple of situations. You remember like the incident where the Asian dude punched the woman in the face, uppercutted her, threw her out the store. Like what was the beauty salon joint or whatever.
Yeah.
The very next day, brothers went down that joker, you know what I mean, trying to deal with them. It's like, you know what I mean, we're gonna shut this joint down. We're gonna shut this joint down. The Asians was like, yeah, half off everything today. Line wrapped around the store. They couldn't wait to give them their money. How many incidents, man, I don't know about, you know what I mean, you personally, you know what I mean, you get a call from like a friend, a family member, whatever, you know, or this dude over here putting his hands on me. You run over that joke and you trying to help her. Next thing you know, both of them looking like they're about to jump you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You done jumped in, you done jumped out there trying to help her. Now both of them are about to beat you up. You know what I mean? Now you the one stuck in the middle. She attacking you and he attacking you, and you like, yo, shorty, don't ever call me again over this. You know what I mean? Don't ever, just don't do it. And then you have the ones that you actually do go and help. And a couple of days later, it's like, oh, but he said he was sorry, you know what I mean? And I'm back, you know, I'm back with him. So, I mean, it's more dynamic than just, you know what I mean? And anytime somebody do X, Y, Z, we got to jump in and do this, and we got to jump in and do that, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, who knows what she's going to do once, you know what I mean, she gets released from the hospital. Right now, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, but he's not like that when he's on his medication. You know what I'm saying? So, is the situation, you know what I mean, is much deeper. Do I think that we need love and protection, man, of our women in our community? I most certainly do. I think that it definitely starts at home, man. We have to teach our own, and we have to also have to teach our daughters, man, about, you know what I mean. There's about being with toxic dudes, man, about being around dudes, man, that have like this mentality, because it's usually a pattern, man. You know what I mean? It's a pattern. So it's not like this is the first time this has ever happened. It's just the first time we ever heard of it. So it's a pattern.
Yeah, I think that we just got to do better, because there should be somebody that knows, like, yo, we are going to be defending our black women no matter what. Of course, we don't want our brothers putting their hands on the black woman either. But I think
Right.
there has to come a time where it just seems to me that they feel that they can do whatever they want to do to our women. But if that was a white woman, not only would the brother
Oh,
be thrown under jail, he get, they'd go at him. You can tell how violent these people are. I'm gonna let you go in, Jay Rich, but we're not dealing with a regular community. And the reason I'm gonna say that is just like this. These people drop bombs on Hiroshima, man. They're the most violent people there is. So we're taking that mindset and we're being violent against each other, but we're not protecting each other. And here these guys are disrespecting our women. I'm just kind of getting sick of it. Enough is enough. It's time that we got to just step up and make a stand and be like, right or wrong, you put your hands on the sister, there's consequences from the black community. We're going to fight.
yeah, yeah. It just, I mean, back in the day, man, when, you know what I mean, one person from your community got beat up from somebody else from your community, and, knowing you, a lot of people from your community got beat up from people from other communities, and, you know, and you know what I mean, everybody had your back. We all used to have each other back, male or female. We had each other's back. And now it's just gotten to like the point, like Goldenrod said, man, you know what I mean? We can't just be an attack dog. Protection has to go further than just something physical. Protection has to start in the home, man. You have to show your daughters, man, you know what I mean, what it is to be a man. Show your daughters, you know what I mean, um, um, what it is to be protected. Show your daughters how to get out of situations as soon as they start. You know what I mean? When you put on, when you go and you get that restraining order, you know what I mean? You got to talk to her and be like, yo, no, 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 you can't go back to this. You can't,
Right.
you are better than this. You are better than this. You deserve better than this. If you want better than this, then you have to, you know what I mean? Then you have to demand better than this. So you can't just sit back and be like, oh, well, such and such and this. I'm going to get my brother. I'm going to get my cousin. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. No, stop. What are you doing to get yourself out of that situation first? You know what I mean? Now, if this dude continues to pursue you, all right, yeah, now it's time, all right, somebody else needs to step in. But the very first thing is you have to recognize the red flags of this dude's behavior and immediately cut it off. Whether you got to cut him off, hey, listen, man, love ain't that deep.
Right, right.
Love ain't that powerful, man. Love ain't that deep, and that's not even love in the first place. You know what I mean? It's absolutely positively not love in the first place. And if you don't know the difference between being abused and being loved, then you need to just get out of that relationship and go and sit down and talk to like somebody that's been in a relationship for years and let them teach you and tell you what love is. But that's not love. And I said, and I told my son the same way I told my daughter, man, there's over 1 billion people on this planet. Just because it didn't work out with that one person, don't mean it ain't going to work out for like the next. So you get out of the situation. Now, we definitely, and not only, and I hate the fact that we always have like the conversation about, you know what I mean? Oh, we got to teach our daughters this. We got to teach our daughters that. We got to teach our sons. Hey, listen, man, keep your hands to yourself. If you ever
That's
in a
right.
situation where you feel as though you are at that point that you gotta put this girl into the hospital, you gotta put this woman into the hospital, you can't control yourself.
You
then
gotta
you need to
leave.
be out of it.
Yeah, you gotta
You
get
got to
out
be
that
like, you need
situation.
to be out that relationship. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
You need to look at yourself and say, like, hey man, you know what I mean? What are we accomplishing here? You know what I mean? If this is the way I feel, nah, I need something better in my life. I need something better in my life.
And not this, I want to stay on topic, but Rod Golden, I am trying to figure out your profile picture, brother. That's either you, Artist Gilmore, or Bill Cartwright. So talk to me. Which one is that? But I feel you. Looking like Artist Gilmore, Bill Cartwright. Um, but yes, that's just something, man. We gotta really start, like you say, teaching that situation with the Ray Rice. They might, especially when liquor comes
Yeah.
involved, and you frustrated, and you put your hands on a woman. There has to be a code. That's the mother of civilization. You know what I mean? Walk away. You know, but because if we do it, and this comes back, and I hate to always go back to this, but this is history here, that we watched our women get slapped by the master so much that we got in condition that we can slap them too. You know, we saw women get raped, but we sat by and didn't do anything. We couldn't do anything. So now we beating up our women because we mad this or that. The white man's beating up the woman, and he's disrespecting her, and we still not doing anything about it. It's just a frustrated thing. It's like we haven't come anywhere. It's 2021. We haven't come anywhere yet.
One of the biggest things, man, and I can't say that we haven't come anywhere because we've come a long way. Unfortunately, in the last couple of decades, man, we have just regressed. You know, we have just regressed because, and again, man, it just goes back to we have to start looking at each other as allies. We have to start looking at each other as assets. We have to start looking at each other as we are all we got. Because in the end of the day, we are all that we have. And until that becomes like a reality, you know what I mean? You're going to still have, like you said, cats out this joker, man, that's willing to shoot each other over, like, you know what I mean, over a pair of tennis shoes, you know what I mean? You're going to have people out here willing to kill each other over like the most stupidest things. But when it comes down to their sister, when it comes down to their mother, when it comes down to like their cousins, all of a sudden then they want to show patience. They want to show reserve. They want to be like, oh, just talk to them or just do this and just do that. We have a lot of healing that needs to take place. And one of the biggest things is, one of the biggest problems is, man, is the breakdown of the family, man. It's the breakdown of the family. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know what I mean, fathers aren't a part of like their children's lives. They are. But we just need more children to see their fathers loving their mothers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's a part of being a father as well. You know what I mean? We need more children seeing their mothers in a loving situation with their fathers. These kids don't have any, you know, some of these kids don't have any real example of what love should even look like, what love should sound like, how love should be. You know what I mean? So on one hand, we can't really blame some of them for some of the things that they do because they don't know, you know. On the other hand, hey man, you know, at any point, man, if that woman puts her hands on you, man, you got to get out that situation.
Right.
If that guy's putting his hands on you, you got to get out that situation. I mean, it's really just that simple. And I know some people are like, oh, you make it sound like it's easier than it is. It is that easy. It actually is that easy. Don't call me anymore. You go and you get a restraining order. If you got to change your phone number, change your phone number. I mean, most people change their phone numbers anyway because they got a new phone from AT&T, and as soon as that contract is up, they get a new phone from Sprint, so they change the number. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. So why wouldn't you do that in order to like make your life better?
Easy. You know I got Sprint. Watch yourself, J. Rich. I got Sprint. Watch yourself. Easy now. You know what? It's been a while since we got together. I know we talked about about it on your podcast. And for those that don't know, I'm talking to my co-host, Brother J. Rich. He is the host of Seriously Joking. Check him out. Go to YouTube, search for Seriously Joking, and please hit that like and subscribe button for him. As while you're on here, if you can, please hit that like and subscribe button. We just want to make sure we get this information out to the people. It's very important that they just hear grown men talking, speaking, networking, and coming up with some positivity. So please, if you can, hit that like and subscribe button. Boom, boom, boom. It's down there so we can get the word out to the people. And also, nobody clicked in yet, but if you like, there goes the link over there, right there, somewhere there. If you want to come into the show, you'll be seen, or you can hide your video and you can talk, so the link is up there as well. For those, we are streaming live on YouTube, on the Collective Black People Movement channel, Real Truth and Power, and the UNIA 421 channel, as well as we are on Periscope, Africa TV, Twitter. We all over, so we got a lot of people watching from different areas. So feel free to join in. There goes the link if you want something to say. It's been a minute. I wanted to talk about the Capitol incident again. Okay. Man, it was really crazy. It's still sinking on me how these white people went up in there and was threatening to kill the police, taking guns from the police, but yet they call us savages when we protest. Man, black people, the worst we do is bust a window and rob and bust into some stores. And we really not on code because we're doing it in our own neighborhoods and not somebody else's neighborhood. So we're not even a threat to our outside community. Where these people went into the Capitol, a place where our residents are, threatening it. It's a video of people talking about take the gun from the cop. And these people are home walking the streets right now, except for one man. The brother. The brother, he ain't walking free. So that's letting you know right off the bat the inequality, the racism, and things of that nature. Like I said, you're right. We have come a long way. But the big picture, after that, we still at the lower totem pole, and we in trouble. I'm a little afraid. That made me afraid because I said they wilding out and they getting slaps on the wrist. So what break that down. What was going through your mind when you heard all of that violence? Okay,
let's I hate to. Well, I don't really hate to keep doing this, but let's take a walk through time, my man. Freddie Gray. You have people down at Mondawmin Mall running out. I'm watching them.
Brother J. Rich, you may want to turn a couple of those titles around so we can't see them, brother.
Hey, man, who don't like chocolate cheeks? Listen, man. Now, I'm on the news. I'm watching the news, right? I'm watching these people come running out of Mondawmin Mall with like handful of jeans and just throwing them in the back of their car, and they run, and they got boxes of shoes. They, you know what I mean? They doing whatever, Did you see the police come down there, Joker, and surround the mall and stop them? Now, when they were protesting on different streets, and the protest was peaceful. Now all of a sudden you got police and riot gear. When the protest was coming down and they started getting next to the stadiums, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, y'all done gone too far. When you were over in the poor neighborhood, you know what I mean, it was fine. Mm-hmm. But now you're about to start messing with like the tax dollars, you know what I mean, to go into the city. And even then, the protest was peaceful. It was just a few knuckleheads that wanted to get out there, Joker, because it was their opportunity just to tear. I don't think that it had anything to do with Freddie Gray or anything else except a moment of opportunity. Mm-hmm. When you look at what happened in Kinshaw, up north, when they're out there protesting, you have a young boy about what 15, 16 years old with a armor light rifle, and he's standing out there protecting an empty parking lot. He gets into an argument with one guy. The guy's like, you know what I mean, I'm gonna beat your tail, so on and so forth. They get into a tussle. He shoots him in the head. He panics. He runs down the street. People are like, oh, he's shooting, he's shooting. They try to tackle him. He shoots and kills another person. Shoots, attempting to kill another person. Walks right past the police. Walks right past them. Goes home and gets some sleep. Goes home with his mother because his mother brought him there. His mother bought him the rifle. And I ask you this, E, this dude is being hit with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. But his mother is in charge. She gave him the gun. His mother is in charge. She took him to the rally. So when you start and you look at, you know what I mean, what happened down at the Capitol, whereas people are like, oh yeah, we're going to storm the Capitol, we're going to storm the Capitol, you know what I mean? Then okay, they storm the Capitol, they get all the congressmen up and out, and then they just open up the gate and let them in. You have one black police officer going around trying to round people up. One. You have a police officer that from the Capitol Police said that he called 6 different people trying to get the National Guard down there. And they were like, nah, 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 nah. And once the one officer went down, then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I didn't know they was going to attack the police. We just thought they was going to go in there joking, steal podiums and piss in like congressmen offices and take dumps on their desks. And you know what I mean? And just wild out that way. Next, you know what I mean? And when they did get called in, they're showing these people around. Hey man, have you seen this part of the rotunda? Have you seen this? They're showing them around. They are watching them climb up on statues taking selfies. They're watching them take pictures off the wall. You can't hide a podium under your jacket, my man. And you know what I mean? They're walking out with them. They're walking out with laptops. They're doing whatever it is they want to do. And I told my cousin right off the top, these people ain't getting charged. These people are not getting charged. And what? And what? It's been what? A couple of weeks now. All of a sudden now the Department of Justice is like, oh, the most that we can do is charge them with like, you know, trespassing. So we just gonna drop the charges all around.
We got a guest coming into the building, my brother, Donnie Hansberry. Donnie Goes In. Please, again, go to his YouTube channel. Donnie Goes In. Donnie, you been listening? What we've been talking about?
Hey, I'm just coming in, brothers. What's going on?
Well, man, we've been talking about a lot. You know, we had the brother that I believe he was a deputy that killed himself about racism being a cop, the Capitol insurrection. And I also wanted to get your advice on, is the black man becoming a punk, not defending the black woman? So I'm going to put you solo real quick. Just give you some points on a couple of those topics. Oh, to go ahead, Jay.
Can I say something before then?
Yes.
Introducing Don Goes In, the Minister of Information for the Baltimore chapter of the UNIA. Proper introduction. My man.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, for those that don't know, we all members of the UNIA. He didn't actually accept the position, but Brother J. Rich recommended him. So we'll get into that Monday night meeting, but let me get Donnie in a little bit, give him some time. Talk to us, Donnie. What you think about what's going on with that?
What's going on, family? Peace and power to the chat and to the family. I don't know. I've worked in positions along with law enforcement as a fireman, and you know I've seen it's a stressful type of environment. You know, the things you have to see and sometimes things you have to do. You really have to be grounded. So, you know, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the brother that felt like he had no other choice but to take his own life to see the things that he's had to see and witness. And I think it just speaks to a bigger problem in our community. Um, I don't know. I've seen, even in my life, I've seen so many times death more than I think a person that we was meant to see. I've been on calls, and I've seen people leave up out of here every possible way of it can, from being burnt alive to car accidents to shootings to some. And if you're not grounded spiritually, or have another a way to deal with that, then it's hard. It's hard to deal with. So I would say for the family that find something to believe in, find something greater than yourself to attach yourself to, because we living in trying times, and this things is going on in this world now that well, I'm not gonna say that it's never been out there, but it's a trying time, and the things we're seeing. I remember well, I just seen the incident too with two people out in the snow. The brother gunned down two people on argument in the snow. I mean, I don't know if that has necessarily to do with the climate of the world today, or the frustration with the virus, and being everybody stuck at home, and just frustration. But I mean, the world we living in, we definitely gotta be grounded in something. And what was the second point? Because I missed that, outside of the brother that shot himself.
We was talking about Des Bryant. He had threatened the guy that beat up the black woman. And I was
Oh,
saying,
okay, yeah.
I like that because nobody famous or popular said anything. And is the black man becoming a punk? Are we not protecting our black women? Since if any other culture can just put his hands on on the female, what happens? What are the repercussions of it?
But I would say this in a whole: until the black woman feels protected, then she gonna continually protect herself. Until she feels and can feel that us as a people, us as black men, are standing up for them, so that no other man feel that it's okay to approach our women, then she gonna continue to defend herself. So I think we as men, that's our place, that's our jobs as the protectors of our family, of our women. And I think through probably post-traumatic slave syndrome and every other way that we've been demasculated over the generations, that defending our women, sometimes it has to be a learned habit for us, because for so long we can't even defend ourselves. So we all, have been in the mercy of racism. Yeah, but I'm trying to grow it out, man. I'm letting it grow all 2021. I'm trying to have this joker down halfway down my shirt, though. What's my man? Dick Gregory beard. That's what I'm going for.
Hey, look, Donnie. Brother Jay Rich got to step his game up. Look, you come in with the black drop, a nice fresh shirt on, new lighting, and this is what they saying about Brother Jay Rich background. I told him turn them DVDs over. We see the titles.
Hey, my man.
But no, if you just tuning in, welcome to if you just tuning in, welcome to the Real Truth and Power Live podcast. We all gonna keep that link up a little while longer, and I believe it's in the chat. If you want to come in, you'll be actually on the show, or you can, I believe, hide your face as well when you come in. But if you want to be a part of the show, come on in. Brother Jay Rich, we're going through a lot of things in this day and time. And I know you said that we came back, we are more advanced than we ever were. but I need you to elaborate on that a little bit. I'm sure that I mean, we're not slaves. It seems like we're free. But I did a video. I want you to comment on this because it seems like as we grow up, and not grow up, but as we move up in times, the world changes. We get more diverse. And I was talking on one of the videos that I did about is diversity good for black people? And a lot of people don't know that diversity started, and it's a Diversity Act in 1705. And that meant that the white people were scared because there were so many slaves coming into the country that they said we got to have at least a certain amount of white people to monitor the slaves. And it was an act that said white people can now carry guns and white people can kill a slave if they have to. That is the real Diversity Act. It's not about black people and white people. It's about controlling the slave population, the 1705 Act. So as diversity, they're pushing for diversity. What's your thoughts on that in this day and time of where we're at?
I think that diversity works out great for everybody else but us. Because we are so I'm trying to find a way to put this, man. And sometimes, man, you know what I mean, as the people that are appointed to talk for us and to be the forefront and the faces of our race and our communities are so thirsty, man, to make alliances with other people. We make sure that we push their agenda, and they only make like these, you know what I mean, empty promises, to carry our agenda. Case in point, there's just been signed the Black Actors and Jewish community or Jewish filmmakers or something. I forgot. I was trying to find it while you were talking. It just come together and made like an alliance or whatever to promote more like so that they can work together and grow. You know what I mean? And help build the community. My thing is this: is that you know what I mean? The Jewish community already owns the media.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they? You know what I mean? They already own the media. So if there was any help that they wanted to give to us, they could just do it. You know what I mean? You have the gay community using the black community to push forth their agenda. You had the Jews back in the 60s and 70s put, you know what I mean, saying they're going to team up with like black folks to push their agenda. You've had just about everybody, you know what I mean, springboard off of our backs, off of our hard work, because we'll get out there. We'll be out in the streets. We'll be the ones that's out there protesting. We'll be the ones that's doing like all like, you know what I mean, the underground work, you know what I mean, to try to get something done. And once it's all done, and I'll give you a prime example. The oh wow, now I can't even think. The civil rights bill. The civil rights bill is a great example of how they tell us that they're going to help us. But the same people that wrote the civil rights bill, it was their wives that got the advantage of that bill. It wasn't black folks. It was white women that pretty much, you know what I mean, got paid off for this. Their husbands was able to take that extra money to the side and start up a job in their names. You know what I mean? Get all these tax benefits, get all these grants from the government. What do we get? We got this. We got the same. Like, yeah, we got that bill passed. That's what we got. We said, yeah, we got that bill passed. We fought for it. We marched for 9 straight years, and we got that bill passed. But in the end, that bill didn't benefit us, and neither did any of the other ones. So when you're talking about, you know what I mean, diversity and trying to hook up with somebody else, man, be careful, man. Be very careful, because the same people are saying that they want to help you. Yeah, they're just looking to use you. They're absolutely looking to use you. It's just like your cousin Twan that always like, let me borrow $5. I'm gonna pay you back Tuesday, and you already know Twan ain't got no job. How he paying you back?
Yeah, you know you gave Twan that money. He don't got the money to pay you back. Take it as a loss.
And that's what's going to happen if we continue to keep teaming up with other people. We're going to have to take it as a loss. because they're not coming back to help us.
You know, Donnie, you said something I thought was real important. The lack of spirituality with our people. Talk about that a little bit about how that's hurting us being on coal, hurting us moving forward.
I think we are spiritual beings living a natural existence, and at some point in your life, I've seen many people leave up out of here, and everybody call for God on their way out. The hardest dude that say they don't believe in nothing, everyone I done seen scream his name as they leave up out of here. So I just think that times that it's what's needed. You gotta believe in something. You either gonna believe in God, you gonna believe in that bottle, you gonna believe in the drugs, you gonna believe in these women, you gonna believe in something. Put your faith in that you get through. I just think having faith in the Creator and reconciling that relationship just gives us a better place to move forward. But I really think what we need to really recognize as a people, and going on what you just said, is Doctor who was it, Doctor Clock.
Uh huh.
Um, we have no friends as a people. Once we realize that everything we do, and I see my man Rod Golden in the comments section talking about no permanent allies, just permanent interests. We don't have no friends, and all our dealings we're dealing with our open enemies. I wouldn't even call them allies; they are open enemies we dealing with. So every interaction we dealing with them, it needs to come from a place of power, and we need to recognize that it's like in every dealing we going in a pit full of snakes. You're gonna wait for the one to see which one gonna bite you or which one not. You're gonna put on a glove or put some protection in place to make sure that you good, so you don't get bitten by any of them. And I think if we come from that position, then we'll make a lot better decisions. Um, we need to. I don't know. It's time. I don't know how many times we need to keep seeing this same story happen over and over against us. We buy into the system. We buy into the dream. We buy into the equality. We buy into the diversity. We do everything because we want to feel accepted in the system of our enemies. And I think if we really, brand that in our brains that these people don't want no good for us in no shape, form, or fashion, then we can deal with them as, I guess, allies or temporary allies to get what we need done in the community.
Facts, facts. Oh man.
Can I, can I
Go
say
ahead.
something real fast?
Go ahead, brother David.
I think that last night, I think it was last night we were on like a podcast, and they were we had gotten into like a little bit of like the same discussion, and I think that one of the problems is that we have people, you know what I mean, that outthink themselves. You know, when you go back and you look at the progress that was made within the black community when we actually had a community. Because for me, when I say community, I mean that we own like stores in the community, we own land, we own houses. It was actually our community, it was really ours. We owned it. You know, you have to go back to that time, and you have to look at the blueprint that was laid out by these people. You have to look at the blueprint that Marcus Garvey, one of the greatest things that he ever did, he gave us a blueprint to freedom. He gave us a blueprint to freedom. But nobody wants to read the blueprint of freedom. Everybody wants to ignore that and be like, oh, well, we got to do this, we got to do that, you know. And along with him, you have like a long list of other economists that looked at Marcus Garvey's blueprint and look at the way that the Asians were able to finally get a foothold and move up. And you look at the Hispanics and how they're getting a foothold and able to move up. And then you start to say, you know what, man, we need to go back and read that, man, and really start putting this really start putting this thing together. because and I say it and I say it all the time. You can open up. I was just in Ellicott City, right off of 29, and there is a shopping center over there, and the whole shopping center is all Asian. You don't see anybody else there but Asian. You there? There's no Kinkos. There's no FedEx or Staples. They got their own little shop where they do the copying and sending out packages. They got their own restaurants that Asians actually eat in. You know, they have everything over there, and almost every single shop was Asian. They had a all-state insurance company that was run by Asians. So you have to stop and say, you know what? If if that shopping center was all black, not one of them would be over there unless they had a shop, and they wouldn't even come next door to you to borrow a cup of water if they had to. But yet we keep giving out. Marcus Garvey laid out this plan for us, and it was really so simple. We have to keep our money together. He laid it out. He laid it out. Just think about, you know what I mean? Even now, where somebody goes and it's like, oh, this person died, you know what I mean? I'm gonna start up a GoFundMe. That joker, you know what I mean, goes viral. And you can get 100,000 people to send in $1 for 4 months. That's $400,000 to go and buy land to invest in. We can invest in each other. We can invest in each other, and we can invest in the communities that we live in to start buying back these communities. The sad part is that some of like the major banks that are run and controlled by blacks, give less loans to black-run businesses than your commercial banks. We can do this. The blueprint is already there. It's just who is willing to run it, who is willing to sit down and abide by it, who is willing to come in and say like, okay, you know what, I've had enough of their system. This is what it takes. This is what it takes. Okay, then let's go ahead and let's start getting it done. Because anytime you can go online and I'm not knocking, you know what I mean, the Carters, but the Carters can go on tour and they can charge thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Thousands of dollars.
Hold on.
You know what I mean?
You
For a
talking
front row
about
seat.
you talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce?
Yes,
I was
yes.
like, the Carters? Who the hell are the Carters? I thought you was talking about some white Illuminati type or something.
Listen, man. If you when you talking about trying to entertain somebody, you can charge them whatever you want to charge it, man. Somebody's going to pay that price. Somebody's going to pay that price. And but let's talk about, you know what I mean. Instead of, you know what I mean, paying, what was it, like up to like $5,000 for a front row seat ticket or whatever. You take that same 5,000 and you hook up with like five other brothers. That's 20,000, and that's a down payment on a lot of land. And then you build yourself like a 2, 3, 4 bedroom multi-level apartment building, single level apartment building, a duplex.
Hey, Jay Rich, you might have some feedback. I hear some feedback coming from you. Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was you, bro. Because I don't hear it now.
You know what I mean? But like, the blueprint is there. The blueprint is already there. We don't have to, you know what I mean, try to, you know what I mean, come up with something different. We don't have to try to do something new. It's already there, and he showed that it's successful. You can mute me. I'm done.
Hey, I agree. There's no need to keep reinventing the wheel. If we got processes in place that work, our oppressors or those that oppressed us and our ancestors, they haven't found a new blueprint. They've been using the same bait switch, and they've been using the same tactics of oppression for the last 500 years, and they haven't changed it up one bit. So why reinvent the wheel? So we need, economically, we need a plan. Spiritually, we need a plan. And together as family, I guess we need a plan. So we need to start practicing some unity in our communities and building it. If we can't leave and get up out of here, we can group up in places and purchase land and property and build our own neighborhoods, our own police forces, our own everything. That way we got a community that that we run it. Then we could just hope and pray that they don't drop the bomb like they did on Black Wall Street and everybody else. But I, I don't think they can get away with that type of behavior in 2021 when we got worldwide internet. They can do that type of stuff when the world wasn't seeing, but now that everybody's seeing, I think they got to be a little more careful in how they play this game. I just think we as a people need to we need to realize this is a game they playing. It's chess, not checkers. And I think instead of us trying to assimilate into a program of society that's not beneficial to us as a people, and I say that as in capitalism because I hate capitalism. I hate capitalism because at least the way it's practiced, because the way it's practiced is nothing how it's described. So I think that we need to get a more African-centered understanding or a new I don't know what you call it, but we need a new economic system where everybody eat. We can no longer society where the top 1% eat and everybody else is picking up the scraps trying to survive. So it's not black, it's not African, it's not beneficial to our communities, and it's time that we exit out that mindset and come to a collective mindset of togetherness that I am because we are, type of mentality that says that we in this together.
Right. Exactly.
And if people really want to know what that game is that they're playing, one of the books that people really don't, what I mean, when you ask them about it, what I mean, is Machiavelli. You ask them about it, it's like, oh yeah, I know about Machiavelli. No, do you really know about Machiavelli? Have you really read the book? Have you really seen like some of like the things that this dude said that you should do once you want to conquer a people, once you want to take over people? Because this is the thing that the European Empire, the U.S. Empire is built upon. So if you haven't read this book and you don't know, then you're not going to know the game.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they think you talk about Tupac Machiavelli.
Exactly. Exactly, man. If you don't read that book, man, and you see how he talks about the way you have to go in and you have to conquer a people, the way you have to instill fear in the people, the way you have to govern these people in order to keep them down, even when you don't have enough force to keep them down, you keep them down mentally because you keep them in fear.
Fact.
If you don't read this book and you don't see the tactics that he's telling them to use, and like you said, they ain't changed. They read that book and was just like, this is a masterpiece. And they have they have ran with this game plan for hundreds of years, and there is absolutely no reason for them to ever change. They're like Belichick with this thing, man. I'm gonna keep running this play, man, until you stop it.
That's right. That's great coaching. That's called great coaching. I wanted to ask y'all guys this. I did a show, Equity over Reparations. Equity versus reparations. I'm not sure Joe Biden is putting in a lot of equity plans. And I was talking a little bit about it because we need equity. We all need a piece of the pie equally. But until we get special things done for us, it's like equity. It's like white people are here. We're down here. And we keep splitting the pie now. So they always going to be here and we're going to be here. We need some form of reparations to bring us equal. So when we split the pie, it's split evenly and we're on a level playing field. What do you guys think of that? I'm going to let you go first, Donnie.
I think we just need to realize that, to me, just cut my check. I don't need you to figure out no programs for me. I don't need you to babysit me with no. Matter of fact, don't even cut it in a check. I'd rather you give me pennies or nickels. I don't care how you give it to me in something of value that I can use. Give it to me in gold. Matter of fact, cut my gold check. At least I that when you cut my check and then they bankrupt the economy and say that now we have money. Now that $1 million I gave you is worth $1 now, so we can reset the whole system. I can say I paid you, but cut my check. I don't need. That's the problem. Everybody else get a check. For some reason, they feel like we need them to be. You know what I'm saying? They got this savior complex with us that they feel like that they got to be in charge of everything when it comes to us. We can't do it, and I say we can do it ourselves. I don't need your help. Cut my check. I don't care if you cut one of these kids' check and they go out and buy every pair of Jordans that it is. Let them do it and let them find out the hard way. But at least they got their check in the hand and they got the option to do with it what they want to, because everybody else get a check without no limitation.
I'll say this much. I'm gonna let you go, J. Rich. The day that they cut us reparation checks, that's when I know we going all the crypto. Yeah, take these checks, and they be like, "Yeah, we using crypto now." But what do you think about that, brother J. Rich?
I agree with Donnie that yeah, I don't need, you know what I mean, because then you got to fill out all this paperwork. You got to apply for this. You didn't check this box, so you know what I mean. You can't get the full amount, or you didn't do this, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? It's one thing to come up with like a whole bunch of different policies, but if that policy isn't actually being enforced, then it's pointless. You know what I mean? There's a lot of policies. There's a policy, you know what I mean, that with banking and loans, you know what I mean, with racism and banking. But how many of those policies are actually stopping racism in banking? How many of those policies are actually stopping racism in real estate? How many of those policies are actually stopping, you know what I mean, are helping us get homes when we have the credit, we have the job, when we have like the job history and the money? And
Right.
yet we still get, you know what I mean? And yet we're still only, you know, you can only buy a home in a certain area. You know what I mean? So it's not the policy, you know what I mean? You can write all the policies you want, you know what I mean? But if there's nobody, absolutely nobody there to enforce like any of these policies, it's pointless. Give me the money and leave me alone. And that's really what I want above anything else, is just to be left alone. You know what I mean? I'll take the money. Don't get me wrong. And like Don said, I don't even know if I want. I don't even know if I want U.S. dollars, since they just passed like this $1.9 trillion spending bill. Whereas again, if you wanted to give us the money, then why are we sending $1 trillion or $1 billion to Egypt? Why are we sending another $1 billion? You know what I mean, to Western Europe, Eastern Europe? How is that helping our economy? Are we looking for an influx of Egyptians to come over and start buying American supplies with the money we just gave them? But I guarantee you that before, if they're going to cut a check, or before they cut any check, I can guarantee you right now, all of a sudden, they're going to be a whole lot of PS5s or PS4, whatever number they're on, that's going to be available for you to come and buy. They're going to be 85-inch TVs being sold at Dollar General. They're going to be available for you to buy. They're going to be, you know, oh, come on, man. Let's be honest, man. They're going to be like, you know what I mean? You ain't even got to don't even cash your check. Just bring it on down here to the Hyundai dealer, and you know what I mean? You could just put it down immediately as your down payment. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm just being real, man. You know what I mean? The moment they hand you that money, they already have a plan for you to spend it, for you to put it right back into the pockets of the people that they wanted it to go to in the first place. So if they're looking to save like the airlines, they're going to give you that money. And Southwest has already got flights for like $50 flights going. You know, Southwest going to be like, only way you can get like the $50 flight is if you know what I mean, do the hotel, you got to do the car. They already got a plan laid out for you, man. They already got a plan laid out for you, so that at the end of the day, by the time you get down to that last $20, I guarantee you, you won't own any land. You won't own any precious metals. You won't own any cryptocurrency. You won't own anything of value. You will spend that money. They'll make sure that they make sure that you blow it on any and everything.
Well, you guys said something, because brother J. Rich, you said something that was like, you know, they'd be down to the last $20 if they got that check and wouldn't have anything. And Donnie, you said something that was real particular to that you said if the young kids want to buy Jordans and stuff and waste the money, that's on them. Which leads me to something I wanted to ask you guys: the lack of training in our community on how to save, how to invest, how to be producers, how to be manufacturers. We're just consumers, and that's all we know. You know, from the average young brother in the street, you know, before it started with I'm trying to feed my family, but it goes beyond that now. You should be trying to feed your family, better the community, get up out the hood, and get back. But they're not even doing that anymore because of the lack of, you know, learning how to invest, learning all of these things. A main issue in our community. Talk about that for me a little bit. You can go ahead, Donnie, and then I go with your brother, J. Rich.
You know what they're doing now? They buying $24 million pink diamonds and putting them in their foreheads.
That's over some A-ball.
Hold on. Say that again. Say that again, Donnie. What did you just say? I ain't hear you.
One of these rappers supposedly brought a 20-something $3 million pink diamond and planted it in the middle of his forehead like Vision off
Oh shit!
You ain't seen that joint?
No. Hold on. Is it a rapper?
Yeah.
I think I did see it. I didn't know what it was. He got it was like a piece of metal or something. I thought he had hurt. I just looked. Somebody wasted the money on a medallion on the forehead, basically.
A diamond.
Pretty much.
A diamond on his forehead.
Yeah, planted his middle of his forehead like Vision on the X-Men or what is it?
Somebody call that brother. For all that, he could have paid off my mortgage. God damn. Who was this guy? Typical investments, I agree, though. America is indoctrinated consumerism for kids. And, you know, that is true. And nice to meet you. Glad you're tuning into the show as well. I appreciate you. Maybe we can get together and you can teach us a little bit about investments. That could be a show. Real Truth and Power at Gmail. Definitely inbox me. Real Truth and Power at Gmail. I'd love to have you on. Go ahead, Brother J. Rich, though.
Lil Uzi.
That's it.
That's his name, Lil Uzi.
$24 million pink diamond. That wasn't $24 million. Y'all sure it ain't like...
Okay. I mean, you know, that's what they say.
$24 million.
But still, I don't give a damn if it was $200. A $200 diamond on my forehead. Are you crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised by that because, you know, you used to buy them gold chains you couldn't get into the pool with.
You know what? I had one. My mother got, this is serious of how I had to learn. My mother got me probably a $500 or $600 for graduation necklace. Like pure necklace. It might have been more than that. It was like a small rope though, solid. Man, I went to the pawn shop, got me this big dookie joint, and the guy was like, "That's all you want?" I'm like, "Huh?" He said, "That's all you want?" I walked out that joint strutting. You know, I didn't have it dangling. I had it coming out the shirt. You know. My mother said, "How much did that chain cost?" I'm like, "A couple hundred." She said, "Man, that little rope I gave you was real. That's solid. It ain't hollow." She grabbed my big joint. My joint was hollow. She said, "You wasted all that money." And then I started thinking, oh, snap. Wow. I should have kept that little chain. And then the next summer, them joints went out of style. I was pissed.
Yeah. It would be great to be able to take that money and invest it and start our own businesses. When you look at like the multiple young black inventors that have come up with different ways for us to recycle and remake plastics. Is a spot in Africa. They just came up with one of their engineers came up with a way to not only recycle plastic but to make bricks out of the plastic that are much more durable and hold more weight than real bricks out of plastics. But when you know what I mean, where do we see these brothers at? The young brother that found out how to I think it was he did what was it, recycling water or something down in South Africa. He was a young cat, and then yeah, they killed this dude like about a week later, and then somebody else popped up and took his patent. You know, one of the Dutch grabbed his patent. You know, so it would be nice for us to actually, you know what I mean, be manufacturers of something. You know what I mean, to start to produce and start to make, you know what I mean, our own, our, you know, whether whatever it is, you know, and make it at a price that we can actually afford. You know, I love, you know what I mean, all like these Instagram ads that pop up, you know, with black clothing and everything else. I'm sorry, man, but I don't have 120 to spend on a hoodie. I don't have 120 to spend on the hoodie. You know what I mean? So on top of that, I would like to see us, you know what I mean, actually make something, you know what I mean, that is that makes our lives more convenient, where the patent isn't getting bought out by Google, the patent isn't getting bought out by Ford Industry, and it is actually being, you know what I mean, put to use at an affordable cost to us. That we're actually being able to use something that we actually made. Because just about everything that you can name in this country that brings you comfort, we invented. And
Facts.
then they bought the patent and then they sold it back to us. It's absolutely amazing. It's a dirty game, man. But yeah, give me the money, leave me alone, and yeah, I'm gonna go and buy something stupid. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. I'm gonna probably go and buy me like a Glock 17 long, and I don't need it, but I want one, and then I can just hang it up. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna get with Donnie, and we're gonna fly out to Ghana. You know what I mean? With our feet in the sand, and be like that.
Hey, that's it. Hey, you brought up a important point that I think we need to remember. That's a problem. Is how we got to come to selling our intellectual property to our enemies and allowing them to touch it up and resell it back to us at dollar store quality, but charge us, A1 pristine prices. And as long as we keep doing that, we're gonna keep finding ourselves in the same boat behind the eight ball. Along with the technology they use, you saying to make bricks, they got the same technology that they can use to make that same type of fiber or something. It's some type of fiber. And I know what you're talking about. You're talking about they can recycle plastic. They can even make
Yeah.
it strong as steel. They can use it to solve a bunch of problems, but we got to make this stuff, and we got to realize when we doing this stuff that we dealing with an enemy that has a vested interest in keeping us down. Because, like I always say, you can't run a successful plantation if all the slaves leave,
That's
if
right.
all get $1 million checks. I mean, who gonna do the grunt work? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you give everybody $1 million check, then we all got bellies out front, and we ain't working today. So somebody got to maintain the system is dependent on keeping somebody at the bottom, and that's capitalism. So, and really in America, we in a spot now to where they starting to ship so many people in that now they pretty much saying we don't even need y'all no more.
Mm-hmm.
They coming over the border. They taking all the jobs and the skill jobs that we used to do. What they're not getting rid of because the technology is taking out the way. They don't need an elevator man no more. We don't need you to do certain things that they got computers and robots to do. They're bringing in cheap labor and they're letting people in the country to take the job. So they pretty much phasing black people out of America. So I guess that's another reason why we need to get our check and roll, because eventually, they pretty much saying they don't care nothing about you. They showing us politically. Black people voted to get Biden in, black women in particular, which they admit to was how he got in office. And I don't know how many days this is at least a couple weeks he been in office, and I haven't heard anything agenda out for black people, black women. I ain't heard nothing out for them. They got you elected. I ain't heard one policy in place from this administration to help black women. I'm gonna say them because they the ones they said voted them in. So they pretty much telling they don't care nothing about you and they don't have a reason to respect you and they're not gonna respect you until you demand respect. We need to stop acting like we the minorities. We're not. We the majority in the world. There's more black people in the world than them. We are the majority. As long as we keep this minority mindset and not remembering our true identity, who we are, like you say, we the creators of everything. Everything they stole and used today, I remember saying, damn, I didn't know this person made this. It's
Right.
somebody black normally behind all the major inventions, from the car to the cotton gin to the light bulb to the telephone to the pacemaker to the internet. Name it is a black person there, huh? You know, it's a black person somewhere that yeah.
You know,
So it's time.
It's funny you said that. I put that over your head for a reason. Hold up, J. Rich. I just wanted to touch on this because I was investment addicts. Check out his YouTube. Subscribe. He said investment education is just important as learning English. And I put that over Donnie's head because I learned that from the Black Business School. That's by Dr. Boyce Watkins. Be poised. He would always teach us to be poised. And that's something we got to learn. Be a producer, be an owner, be an investor, save, and be an entrepreneur. And a producer is a manufacturer, and we're not teaching our community to do that. We're teaching our community to make the money, to get a job, to work in a system. So when you look around the black community, we don't own any corporate buildings. We don't own any businesses. Before, you at least had the corner store where the brother will own a corner store. You go get you support the brother. But now that's even owned by, Chinese Orientals. Even maybe Hispanics and Mexicans are now starting to own that. You look at the Mexicans that come over, man. It's like, I think we was talking about it on one of y'all shows. You talking about 15 people living in a house. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. 15 people saving their money, building and things of that nature. So I just urge everybody, try to think of something, try to produce something, try to own something, property, invest, save, and be an entrepreneur. Even if you got a job, still try to do a business for write-off purposes. Learn the system, you know what I mean? But go ahead, Jay. We're sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, I was just going to touch on one of the things that Biden had said when he met with the civil rights leaders. What did he say? Like, man, y'all talking like y'all don't know what's going on. In a minute, y'all better try to hook up with the Hispanics. And, because they're about to pass you, which is he flat out telling you don't matter anymore. You don't matter anymore. You are exactly what we need you to be. And that is the springboard for everybody else. You are exactly what we need you to be, and that is the example for everybody else to be like, see, you're not as bad as them. You know what I mean? And that and use that as, you know what I mean, that's your springboard, you know what I mean? Well, to look at yourself, no matter what situation you in, you can always look at the black community and be like, well, at least you're not as bad as them. When you're talking about policy and everything with Biden, I have a question for you, E, because you and I had like a disagreement on the contract with Black America. So
talk about Q.
How many days? Because you said that he should have waited. He should have waited. We still waiting, bro.
Oh, hold on now, brother. Yeah,
we still waiting.
We
waited them yet.
I agree. I agree. The time is now. When you gonna look at the plan? You see this, right? You see, I'm with you.
The time was months ago.
But listen, the reason I said that he should have waited to go to Trump, because I thought that was.
He didn't go to Trump.
I mean, you know what I mean, though. Well, somebody in his camp went to Trump. They deal with Trump. Either way, the way it got out, I think that put Cube in a bad situation, because I know he meant well. I know Cube meant well. But now that Biden's in, I need to hear Cube say, "Yo, you win now. Here go this plan right here. What you gonna do?" And put Biden on blast. That's what I need from Cube. Don't wait now.
Q,
I mean, what we
Q
doing
getting
now?
that same, he getting that same treatment that everybody else got when they started complaining when he got in office. All these civil rights leaders that have been absent the whole time, that since George Floyd that I ain't heard from, that they was on the phone complaining on the news and everything else, saying they ain't called me yet. They ain't called me. We voted for him. They ain't called me. They had to put him on blast just to get him to come to a meeting. So you know Cube ain't getting a call back.
You know what I
Man,
think we need?
go ahead.
We need to put him on blast and put the pressure on
I
him
agree.
to
I
look
agree.
at like this, to look at this joke. I think Cube then did his part. He came up with the plan. Now it's up to everybody else to put the pressure on him to at least acknowledge it, if
Look.
nothing else, because they're not going to go through it. Let's be honest.
I don't
They're
know
not
if
going
y'all
to go
saw.
through it. They
I
can
don't know if y'all
acknowledge
saw. I don't know if y'all saw that video I did. This goes back to them as well. When Kamala Harris said, "I'm gonna do plans to benefit all of America," and when I do plans to benefit all of America, yes, it's gonna help Black people. But there's something called pre-quo pro. I don't know if y'all saw that, and that's it's Latin, but that's pretty much saying for your vote, you need to give us something in return. That is pretty much how politicians do things. Pre-quo quo. I did a video and we don't do that. And for her to say that, I thought that was quid pro quo. Thank you. Yes. It's a tongue twister. For her to not say that, like she's Black, we voted for it. I'm not getting on the sister. I'm hoping she's going to do her job. But what I am saying is the mentality to go in and say, yeah, you guys voted for me, but I'm not going to really do something to fix up the community. I'm going to pass a law that's going to benefit all communities. How about pass that law to benefit all communities and put some money into our community to get the drugs out? You know what I mean? Save these people. The murder rate is crazy right now. I'm just lost at that. Quid pro quo. That's what it is.
Why would they do that when they bring the drugs in the community?
Well, you know.
Yeah, when they bring it in the country. I mean, that's messing their money up.
I agree.
I mean, everybody remember the Ron Contra scandal? Everybody remember how all this started? They brought this here.
Yeah,
They made
I
this
remember.
and put this stuff in for a purpose. It's all for the same purpose of keeping us I want to say slave, but I hate that term. Keep us in a position of just being comfortable. They give you all the drugs you want. They give you all the alcohol. It's a liquor store on every corner. There's a church on the opposite corner of every corner. They give you everything that you want to try to keep you submissive and keep you enslaved mentally so that they can continue doing what they're doing.
You know, that's crazy, isn't it? Not you. It's one thing when you mention the liquor store, but they also controlled us by the church. You know how they how they instructed to use religion to control us. You know, this ain't a knock on religion, but this is how they use religion to control the slaves. The fact that in our community you got a church and a liquor store on almost every corner. That's crazy. When you think about that, you think about the mindset of your community. You know what I mean? And that's something that it really got to come from within. We got to change that mindset, and we got to first take over our community and do that part of it. But go ahead, both of y'all. Y'all can flow into that.
The fact that you have a church and a liquor store shows you the division that they want to keep in the community. You know what I mean? It just shows you the division that you want to keep in the community. I think that because I can't really knock religion because religion has changed the lives of a lot of people and had them turn around from doing things that were very destructive to the community to being a part of uplifting the community. One of the biggest problems that I have is that that nowadays, and I think that I brought this up once before on one of your shows or whatever, that the church used to be the meeting place for the civil rights movement. The church was the meeting place for the civil rights movement. And now you have in 2020, 2019, 2018, you have five of like the biggest mega churches in PG County going to family credit union and telling them, hey, you know what, if you want out, you know what I mean, you're gonna have to give us special interest rates if we bring out money to you, you know. And of course the bank is like, you know, I mean, it's a credit union. They're gonna be like, yeah, man, you know, this five mega churches or whatever. These cats got like multi-million-dollar properties. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the rate. But here's the kicker. But we don't want our members to get those rates. We get those rates. This is the pastors. We get those rates. Nobody else. The problem in the community. And so I don't say that religion isn't dividing us. Some of these so-called religious leaders are dividing us.
So you saying are you saying I should not have faith in the Reverend Creflo Dollar? Are you saying that, brother? Because this brother done got Creflo done got a church. He got a plane. Didn't he get a jet or something?
He got planes with the S.
He got more than one?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And when the COVID hit, he went and got himself a cash app so you can still send in your tithes. And that's a true story, my man.
Wow. Hey, you know what? I think the problem is that came in with the church and where we lost it. It's also that prosperity ministry that they all fall underneath. But it's that separation of church and state. It's that tax-free status that these religious organizations use to where they tie their hands. So when you say back in the day when our grandparents and great-grandparents were out there in the community with political rallies, where even the president and whoever else was in office, they came to the church to have that because their hands weren't tied. So they start taking that money, and that's the problem. When you deal with your open enemy, everything he does it for his benefit. So while he's telling you, yeah, take this tax-free status, you know, the church don't have to pay no taxes, the pastor is good, but then you can't say nothing. You can't speak out against the government, or we're gonna take that back. So the problem is not the religion. I'm a believer in faith and believe in God. So it's not that. It's their hand. It's also this prosperity ministry that's going on that has nothing to do with God. It has to do with some greedy people that they might as well be rappers. They might as well be all these dark-skinned white supremacists out here. They all the same people that use and abuse our community. And when they stop giving back, like our grandparents' church and stuff did, where they stopped giving food, clothing, help, started bringing up the community, that's when they pretty much lost their purpose in our community. And it's time for it to go. And it's not all of them, but it's a majority of them. And those that are doing it are hurting us. So we need to come past that. So I don't want anybody to think it's about religion, because I heard somebody say this and I thought about this and I was like, wow. I mean, how to recognize or reconcile your relationship with the Almighty, with Spirit, with truth is it's between you and God. It don't have nothing to do with the other person, and we shouldn't be fighting about it, because it's like, does God really care? Like, I mean, does he not know somebody? I mean, does he not know who we are? Does he not know who we are talking to, what our intentions are? It's like, you don't hear they liken it to mathematics, and I was like, wow. Does addition spend their time saying subtraction is wrong? Does multiplication spend their time saying division is wrong? They all are forms of mathematics. So that's it's really a relevant conversation, but it's something that they use to divide us, and that we as a people need to come past and realize that we Black first, we African first, we race first, and everything else is secondary, especially when we're in a war with a people that all they care about is race, and they are race first.
Yes, yes, and you know what? It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna go. I want you to respond to that comment, Jay Rich. But Donnie, you're right. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with taking care of your community. There's nothing wrong with taking care of your neighbor and making sure your community is in the best spot possible. That they're not doing anything wrong. They're on code. I mean, I think again, going to UNIA, what you said, Donnie, we letting religion come between us. One God, one aim, one destiny. And like the Honorable Michael Duncan said on the celebration of Marcus Garvey's son's passing, he said, "Yo, my family is my race, so I need to take care of them, and we need to just put ourselves in a different position and stop letting these things affect us." But Jay Rich, I wanted you to flow on this. By Investment Addicts. He says, honestly, there are so many special interests in politics. It's really hard to differentiate who is on the right side and who is on the wrong side. I think the best policy is to create for yourself, the community, and charity and see where it goes. Did I hit the nail on the head? What's your
I
thoughts on
don't
that,
think.
Grace Rich?
Um, I agree with like the last part of it. I don't think that there are a lot of special interests in politics. To be honest with you, I think politics is the same. Politics has always been about, you know what I mean, the rich staying rich. Politics has always been about this country was started by, you know what I mean, rich. Either you had to be rich or at the very least you had to be a land owner in order to participate in politics, in order to be able to vote, in order to have any say in the government, you either had to be a business owner or own property. That was the only way when this country started. And you can fast forward 300 and whatever, how many years it's been, and it's the exact same. So no, I don't believe that there are a lot of special interests because the interest is always the same. Stay in power, stay getting that money. That's their only interest. They may talk about this and that and the third or whatever, but they only have one interest: get the money and stay in power. That's it. That's it. When you look at every last, look at all of it. Look at this. Look at this spending bill that they just passed. It shows you that the interest is give me the money and I'm gonna stay in power. No matter what it is you do, I'm gonna say whatever it is. And me and an associate of mine were going back and forth, and he's like, "Oh, this politician is a conservative, and this person is a liberal, and this is that." I was like, "Man, your politician ain't no conservative. He ain't no liberal. He is whatever Google is paying him to be. That's what he is. He is whatever Coca-Cola is paying him to be. He is whatever McDonald's is paying him to be. That's what he is. If you want to call him a liberal and you think that, you know what I mean, that y'all see that holds your interest, you know what I mean, at heart when he goes in, then you know, he is more than willing to let you believe that. More than willing to let you believe that. Because that money from Google is going to keep on pouring in because he's going to keep voting for laws, passing laws and policy that makes Google money. He's going to be passing laws and policy that's making Amazon money. But when you got put out of work because of this COVID-19, what did he do? They sent you a check for how much? Over how many months? What money did he put in your pocket? When you start talking about special interests and you start talking about, you know what I mean, who is this and what they're fighting for? Nothing. They're only fighting for themselves. They always have, and they always will be. And with Donnie was saying with like the church, I have absolutely no problem with like religion. No, and I agree with you. Religion isn't the problem. And the fact that
It's
they can
not.
try to hold over, you know what I mean, the separation of religion and state, they do it selectively because let's not forget Joe Biden was just going around doing tours in southern churches. There was no separation of religion and state then when he was going around lying about being a part of the civil rights movement. There was absolutely no separation at that point. But if you start telling people like to band together and stop supporting this or stop supporting that, that's something that they don't agree with, something that if you're not supporting them, then there's a problem with the separation of state. But my whole thing was you have a group of pastors of mega churches making millions of dollars going into the banking financial system and telling them that only we can get a special rate, not our members. All the members should leave. every last one of them members should leave. And that 10% that they automatically take out of their check sometimes, or that they're putting into their church, put it into buying land with your family.
Facts. Investment addicts. I'm gonna give you the rules to the show. You get one pass because you probably tuning in for the first time. You can only agree with Jay Rich once during the show. You know, it's human law of mathematics. It don't add up once you agree with him twice. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 in this situation. It's a weird mathematics. And it looks like I think you're investment addicts. Put in the chat. Are you watching from Twitter or Twitch TV? I can't tell which one. It looks like Twitter, but it might be Twitch. Just want to know. But yeah, man, you guys hit it on point on that. Before we roll out, I wanted to just ask you guys a couple more questions. And one is Donnie, Twitch. We live on Twitch. We are live on Periscope. We are live on Africa TV, ARF. We all over the place, y'all. Definitely tune in. But I need you to go to that YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Like you said, I need my watch time. I need my watch time. But before we close, I just wanted y'all to just go into a little bit about just where do you think we are at this state and time as a community. What is the one major thing you would like to see done right away that Biden needs to be pushing? What do you think that is? I'll go with you first, Donnie.
Number one thing which he should have did day one that I haven't heard it done yet should be police reform. I don't know. Well, I know why, because he don't care. But day one should have been.
What did you say?
I said day one, and he should have did, which I'm still waiting for. It should have been police reform. That should have been day one. Day one should have been executive orders all day long. Mandatory body cams. It should have been a national system to report incidents of abuse by police and murder. It should be a what's that law they got that I don't know if it's the Good Samaritan law they have where that you know I'm in fear for my life so I can kill you law that they use on us all the time, or you know I can abuse you because I'm in fear for my life law. That needs to have been gone day one.
It all starts from that one thing, man, like we talked about. Hold that, Donnie, because you hit something. I want you to go into that. Jay Rich, check out that. I want you to go into that too, Jay Rich, to answer investment addicts. I was just about to say that, the stand your ground rule. All of that stuff, like when I want to get your opinion on this first, Donnie. Because when we talk about changing police reform, a lot of the way that they act is towards black people. Like, you're not hearing about this in any other cultures. There's a reason for that. So is it police reform or is it changing the mentality of others? Because I think their mentality isn't changing, and that police reform isn't going to change because of that. I think, like you say, they really believe that they're really afraid of us. There's some that are racist cops. There's some that the Constitution, it goes way back that we're less than human. I think I did a show on the religious education of the Negro, how the pastors were saying we were heathens and stuff like that, and how religion just makes you human and they look at us as human and we need to be. All of this stuff they've been raised as. The pastors are teaching this in the church, and they're teaching this to the slave owners. These people grew up believing this to a certain degree. So do you think it's their mentality, or do you think police reform? Because I think no matter what rules they have in place, if they kill a black person, it's always going to be in the back of their mind, you know, that all of these stereotypes that we have. I think that is the major thing they're thinking, but I wanted your opinion on that, which also goes me to what was the movie? I just did a review on it. I don't know why I'm going blank tonight.
What was it about?
Oh man, is it American? No, American Skin. American Skin. You didn't see that yet?
No, I
what?
I didn't see that.
All right, well, I'm gonna need you first to go check out my channel, find that video, hit that like button, and I did the review on it. American Skin is about a black guy. He has his son going out of the hood. He has his son going into a white suburban good school, but they live in the hood. But he worked there as a janitor. I guess and his son was on the basketball team or something. So I guess they might be coming from the game or something in the wrong neighborhood in a messed up car. They got pulled over. You know, the son's a young guy. Like, man, I can film, put the gun away, somehow he gets shot. And then they go into the police station, take over the police station, get some prison guards, because the cop got off. He got off. He didn't get prosecuted. And they gave him a trial right then and there at the police station. And the cop pretty much said it. Come on. Yeah, the cop pretty much said, you looking how you looking. You're in this car. You look like you didn't belong. Come on, that's why I stopped you. So that alone, you know, you got to see that movie. You got to see that movie tonight. What's it on? It's on Prime, though. I think I watched it on Prime. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead.
For that. Yeah, I remember the previews for that movie. I didn't know it was out yet. But I say police reform in all aspects because they don't have to like us. I don't care if you like me or not. I don't care if you're scared of me or not. I just need you to do your job.
Facts.
So put laws into place to ensure that they do their job. Like that's why I said body cams, 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? You can't turn them off and you know not be prosecuted. Mm-hmm. Laws in place to prosecute them for misconduct. It should be. That's why I say a national reporting system where you report them, a database. So when they do something to somebody and get in trouble and get fired, they can't go to the next county and get a job and be a police officer again. There's so many loopholes in the system where it comes to them where they always got a way out to continue doing this. And I say this from a perspective of being a fireman. I know I work with a lot of jokers that are probably KKK members and everything else that work in the police department. You know, that fraternal organization, that union, they got a tendency to you know, go in there for generations. In the hood, it don't make a difference what hood you in. You go to the fire department, you're gonna see white firemen from West Virginia, wherever, work there for the benefits. They don't care about the community, but they did. And they don't have to like you, but we need laws in place to ensure that they do their job. They also they need to be personal liable. Now, if you take something and do something to harm me or kill me, somebody in my family, the police department pays the bill. That bill doesn't go to them permanently. So they got all these laws and loopholes in place that allows them to disrespect people, and they only do it to us. And like I say, it doesn't make a difference. Do your job, and the only way we can make them do their job is to have as many safeguards in place to make sure that their conduct is being regulated. It's the same way they do with what do they call that? Diversity training. I think I mentioned diversity training.
Yep.
It's the same thing with that. Every year, and I take this in DC, I believe it was Tyra Hunter act or something. They had a transvestite that had I don't know what happened to him, but it was a medical something emergency, and this back before they really knew what this was. So you didn't see a lot of men that was dressed completely as women. So when they, I don't know if she got shot, stabbed, whatever, but when they went to pick her up and address her, to treat her, they're like, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? This is a man. So they didn't get any type of lack of care. What they got was the guys, somebody laughed and sniggered about it because it's something they'd never seen before, but the family sued, and DC had to pay them a certain amount of $1 million because of what happened to them. So that's when the diversity training came in. But diversity training is not going to help this situation. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't need you to like me. You don't need to act them. You don't need to like anybody. But
just be human. Be a human being.
You ain't gotta be human.
Just be a human and live righteously and go home at the end of the day, and we all good.
Yeah, just do your job, because that's what they did with us. So I said that to say that after that they put in place, so you don't see this type of thing in the fire department that you see in the police department. Because when we go on the scene, and if you do anything out the way that make that person feel any type of way, it's on us. We get prosecuted. We could get fired. We got disciplinary if the patient says a problem, and we need that same type of mentality on a police officer. So they supposed to be public servants, so they should be serving us. It shouldn't be a situation where they overly aggressive to us. The
Right.
fire department, we can't do that. You come out, you don't see firemen come to your aid and talking trash to you and disrespecting you. No, they come and they gotta humble themselves, not because they like you, because they know if they don't, there's gonna be repercussions. So it should be the same thing on the police force.
Fact. Brother J. Rich, investment addicts wanted someone to respond on this. I don't know if you can see it, but he was saying social media and the algorithmic formula is dividing us. The algorithm is putting us into our own echo chambers, and anything we see outside of that, we just immediately reject it. When we are fighting, people are profiting. It's sick. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely, man. I think that one of the reasons why we keep freezing up is because of an algorithm to slow down your bandwidth because you're spitting knowledge right now. Yeah,
I agree.
you done already touched on too many keywords, man, on like this podcast, man. So they got to slow that joker down, man. It's real, man. And even if they didn't slow down like the bandwidth, what they're going to do is shadow ban you. You know what I mean? The moment that you start saying something that you don't want, all of a sudden you're going to see that your video isn't being played. The last time we did like a show, I usually get an alert on the phone when we go live. I ain't even get an alert, you know what I mean, for my own show. And I'm like, come on, man, what's going on, dude? You know what I mean? And it actually, even today, you know what I mean, I'm actually streaming this show on my show, you know what I mean, doing the screen share. And we were like about an hour into this thing before I even got like an alert popping up on my phone saying that my show was live. So yeah, man, the algorithm thing, man, then they'll deny it all day. You know what I mean? Oh no, it's not this, it's not that. But if you start talking about something that they don't like, they're gonna definitely gonna find a way to ban you. And then you have Twitter now, that's you know what I mean. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of them are changing like their rules or whatever, their policies and procedures to just ban you. You know what I mean? So if you're getting on there and you're saying, I was just reading before we came on a guy that was talking about COVID-19 on his YouTube, and I guess he had like thousands of followers on his YouTube. They demonetized him on YouTube. They demonetized him, and the next step is, you know what I mean, they're just going to shut down his channel. And so yeah, man, the algorithm is real, man. You have freedom of speech as long as you only say what they want you to say. And yeah, and that's as far as it's going to go, man. You have freedom of speech. You can say whatever it is you want, as long as they agree with it. And it's been like that for like a minute. So if you're thinking that, you know what I mean, just that now, that Trump got banned, you know what I mean, on certain social media platforms. Nah, man, they've been doing this for a minute. They just slow down your likes, slow down how many people actually see your video. When they put you in like the search engine, yeah, people try to look you up. You on page 7 instead of page 1 because they know people only want to go like 1 or 2 pages. You know what I mean? Searching for certain things. When it comes down to like the police force, what Donnie was saying and everything, it comes down when and you were asking, is it like do they need training or is it a mentality? It's
Right.
absolutely 100% a mentality because all of these people take psychological tests. If you do not fit in if you do not score well or don't fall into a certain category in that psychological test, guess what? You don't get to become a police officer. So if you're not the type that can shoot somebody on command because they told you to do so, you're not going to become a police officer. Because in order to become that police officer, you have to be able to follow instructions without asking a whole lot of questions. If you're one of these people that's going to show compassion, that you're going to, you know what I mean, start questioning authority. Why are we doing this? Why are we only over here in this neighborhood when we know, you know what I mean, that the real crime is going on over here? They don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Why are we going to go bust up like this Sweet 16 birthday party when we know they got coke on the other side of town? At another party that the neighbors keep complaining about, like the noise, about the noise and the partying going on. You're gonna go over to that part of town. You're gonna knock on the door nicely and be like, "Hey, you know, your neighbors are such and such, this and that." You're gonna go over to like the hood and bang on the door and be like, "Yeah, man, we shutting this down. Do I smell? Do I smell weed up in here? Do I smell drugs up in here?" Completely different mentality. Completely different mentality, and you're going to look for a reason to arrest somebody on one part of town, and you're going to look for an excuse to let somebody else off on the other side of the town because that's what you were told to do. So yes, it's policy and it's a mentality, because you have to have the type of mentality that they're looking for to carry out their policies. You understand? Because if you don't have that mentality, you don't get on the police force. Period.
Wow.
And like the brother was saying, you know what I mean? When you start talking about the unions, oh yeah, the union is strong, man. And you know what I mean, like a national database. The first thing that they're gonna complain about is the same thing they always complain about when one of these cops can shoot and take the life of your family member, your friend, your husband, your child. They can be like, "Oh, I've been getting death threats from who? From who? How many people actually have your phone number? Then now all of a sudden you're getting death threats." It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's to the point now where how we even started this whole conversation off. Are we in a worse position than ever? No, we just find ourselves in an old position. Anytime you can have a 15, 16-year old, you know what I mean, with a Armalite rifle that's able to shoot people and go home, and they just go and knock on the door and, you know what I mean, come and pick him up. This dude is wanted for, like, you know what I mean, 2 counts of murder, and he goes home, he gets bail. Matter of fact, not only does he get bail, he gets celebrities to come, and they raise enough money for his bail. They raise money for his defense fund. They raise money for any and everything. He moved out of his house to a place that nobody knows where he is. And guess what? This dude doesn't have an ankle bracelet. Get caught with weed and see if and they let you go home. See if they put an ankle bracelet on you. Get caught driving drunk and see if they don't install, especially like in Montgomery County. See if you ain't got to install like that little breathalyzer in your car. This dude killed somebody and he went home, and they don't know where he is. The guy up in New York that ran over like the Black Lives Matter protest, and he was just like, I just got tired of them being in my neighborhood blocking traffic or whatever. Walked away. No charges. Walked away. People that went down into like the Congress, you know what I mean, down into like the Capitol, and they're pissing and they're taking dumps in Congress people offices. They're stealing laptops. They're stealing podiums. They're stealing priceless art off the wall. They're all home. They are all home. There's not a problem with policing. There's not a problem with, you know what I mean, with the way, you know what I mean, with there's not a problem. I'm trying to get my words together, you know what I mean, because they police the way that they do on purpose. You think that it's a problem because you're feeling the brunt end of it.
Right.
Because and what will happen is, and I said this before, man, these people are masters of language. So when you go to court or you get in front of they'll stand in front of the media. They're not saying that your son or daughter didn't get beat. You know what I mean? They're not saying that they didn't get maced. What they're saying is they didn't find that the police violated policy. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. They're not saying that none of this stuff happened, because all this stuff happened. They're just saying it wasn't against police policy. So when you got handcuffed, when your son got handcuffed and he got tased like 4 times and ended up having a heart attack and dying on the concrete, yeah, no, they're not denying that he got tased. They're just saying it wasn't against policy. So when a 9-year-old girl is in the backseat of a police car getting maced, nobody's getting arrested. Nobody's losing their job because they're going to say they didn't violate policy. So
Now,
when we start talking about police reform, we need to start talking about changing police policy and changing who we allow to be police officers. We give these people. You want to talk about gun violence in America? Look at the police department.
you know, you were so
Because when we talk
powerfully
about gun
flowing,
violence,
not to cut you off, but you were so powerfully flowing that you thought you was slick. And I gotta always come down and I gotta stay on you because when you was talking about the algorithms and everything, you thought you was slick. So you really gonna blame the white man on your cricket internet service, huh? You really gonna do that? Really? Because you got bad service. And you cutting on and off.
actually, it's your service that's lagging. Everybody else freezing up.
I'm just saying, brother. I gotta stay on you.
Khalif Browder spending 3 years in lockup over a backpack that he never stole. But the dude that stole a podium from out Washington, out of the Capitol, he home. It's ridiculous, man. Yeah, man. So you have to change the mentality that you hire to be police officers in the first place. You know, that's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. And then you have to start changing like the policy. Because if you start hiring different people of a different mentality to police, they're going to automatically start questioning the policy. Why is that? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And it goes back to what I was telling you before. It goes all the way back to like 1980. And you know what I mean? Into the 1980s when the federal government started telling these small towns like Ellicott City, Fairmont Heights, Seat Pleasant, Capitol Heights, you name it, all over like the map. Hey, you know, if you get a drug arrest, we'll give you a certain amount of money for every person that you bust with drugs. It doesn't even make a difference how much drugs it is. When that started coming in, then they said, you know what? We will let you confiscate people's houses if they're doing drugs in their house. You can take their cars, you can take their houses, you can take any money that you find on them. You give us our cut and you take the rest. Then it got to the point where it said that they ain't even got to be had. They don't even have to have drugs in the car. They don't have to have drugs in the house. They don't even have to be dealing in drugs. You don't have to find any of this or have a probable cause. All you have to do is just say you think that there were drugs in the car, and now you can take their car. You could just say that you thought that they were dealing drugs out of the house. No evidence is needed. And now you can take their house. So when you start looking at these type of policies, you see that the policing is no longer it's no longer policing. We can't even really call this a police force.
It's a gang. It's a gang.
That's exactly what it is. Because if the gang wanted what you got, and they were like, look, man, we're going to take over this house. We're going to make this a trap house. And they run up in that joke and run everybody out and take the house. They got the house. The cops can run up in your house and be like, oh, yeah, well, we thought there was drugs, you know what I mean, being sold here. They ain't got to find drugs. The Supreme Court said they don't have to find drugs in your house to take your house. They could just think that you're selling drugs.
Oh, Lord.
80% of the people that get their houses taken or their property taken by the police and these type of seizures never get their property back. Because your property, the charges isn't against you. They're not charging you. They're charging your house. So now you have to hire a lawyer to prove that your house didn't commit a crime. Damn. So if they took $500 off of you, or they done took your rent, they done took $1,000 off you for your rent because they think that, you know what I mean, that you're a drug dealer and this is just they're confiscating drug money and it's actually your rent money. It costs you $2,000 to get a lawyer. What you gonna do? It's gonna cost you $2,000 to get $1,000 back, and if he recovers the money, he wants a third. So you're really spending $2,000 to get $700 back, $666, because he wants a third. It's a
That's
dirty
crazy.
game, man. This is no longer policing. This is not policing. 80% of the people that are locked up in prison right now are there because of some drug charge. And if you talk when we sitting here talking about are we safe, you know what I mean, and the murders and everything else, it ain't murderers that's back in prisons, my man. It is not murderers.
You're right.
It's not pedophiles that's blocking, you know what I mean, that's packing in prisons. It's people getting caught with
I agree.
drugs, any amount of drugs. We're not policing anymore. We don't have a police force anymore.
What do y'all think about investment addicts? I know someone who was a police officer, and he said there are a few police officers who patrol on the premise, race out of place. I'm assuming that in our neighborhood, get them out of here. They don't belong here. Patrol them and that nature. Which is funny when I'm thinking about it, because most white people come in our neighborhoods to buy drugs. It ain't like
And
we
never-
going in that neighborhood to buy. If you ever see a black person in a white person's neighborhood, more likely he's on code to just enjoy the atmosphere, being relaxed. He ain't trying to break into nobody's house. I ain't saying that doesn't happen, but 9 out of 10 times, you know, poverty, you commit crimes around people that you are with. We're not going all the way out in the suburbs unless somebody got a sure enough scheme going on to do some crimes, man. It's just they patrol up a neighborhood, man. We just don't. It's just the bottom line.
You know the funny thing about that, Everett, is that the interracial crimes is less than, I think I want to tell you it's less than 15% of all crimes committed.
I believe
Less than
it.
15. Less than 15%. So when we start talking about and be like, oh yeah, you know what I mean, like blacks are in a white neighborhood, doesn't really mean anything, because there is an 85% chance that if a crime goes down in a white neighborhood, it was a white person that did it.
God dang it! Now hold your thought, man. I was trying to get off of here. My ribs touching. I've been pushing a bunch of shows. I just did a brief show on the Atlanta. One of is doing very well in the I'm gonna put the links all in the description for those that catch us later. It'll be in the description on the Georgia police chief. You saw that, J. Rich? And he was saying, out of the blue, they was like, yeah, shoot him. You got to tase a nigga like 25, 40 times. Just put a cap in him, shoot him. He said that. But, I mean, to me, losing your job on that premises isn't enough. You should be locked up. If they didn't check his record to see has he locked up black people that didn't need to be locked. None of this. All of his cases should be under violation. You know,
His cases didn't violate policy, Everett.
come on, brother. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. I mean, that hit me to the core. That was so disgusting when he said that. I mean, I was just straight up shocked when he said that. I was straight up shocked.
You were shocked by that, but you weren't shocked by the part where he said that I can't believe that these people complain about slavery.
Oh, that was
Somebody
worse.
gave
Oh,
them a house.
why would you say that? That is worse. He said we gave them
Right.
they had everything when they was free slaves, free food, you know. Now they free, they don't even want to work. I'm like, whoa. There's a big difference. I go to work, I get my check. If a brother refuses to go to work, that's on him. Slavery, I don't get no check, I get my ass beat. And I eat your leftovers if you allow me to eat. I mean, I can't roam free. I'm forced to work.
You left out the free house.
Oh, this is why you do. Go stop it. This dude,
Hey, you know-
all his cases should be. They need to go through the records on this dude. We're asking him to resign. That's not enough, and it was 2 cops. That's crazy, man.
The sheriff,
I
it
think
was
it
a
just
sheriff in
shows the
Florida.
mentality of them.
Yeah, exactly. There was a sheriff in Florida. He had gotten fired from working in some other district as usual. He went to this one. He rose up in the ranks. They end up making this dude like the chief. This dude was going around anytime like a crime got committed, he would just send everybody out. This dude had a 100. He cleared all of his cases, 100%. for like a number of years until he got investigated by like the FBI, and he found out this dude just telling the police force, you know what I mean, just go out and arrest some random black guy, and we're just gonna say he did it. So if somebody's house got broke into, and you happen to be in that neighborhood at that time, you were getting locked up for it. He only got like 3 to 5 years. And I'm thinking, like, how many years did these people get, man, for breaking an entry? How many years did these people get for all these crimes that you pinned up against them? And you pretty much get a slap on the wrist. And then when you get out, somebody's going to hire you as a security guard. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, man, listen, man, I was the chief over in, you know what I mean, Cocoa Bay. Oh, all right, yeah, my man. Make you a supervisor over here with Brinks. You're going to get a job.
That
reminds,
go ahead, Donnie.
that reminds me of two cases I just heard recently in California.
Hold it.
one
You said 2 cases?
I don't know if they actually went to court, but
No,
two,
but you said 2 cases, right?
yeah.
All right,
two
I thought
cases.
you said something about 2 chains. I'm like, oh Lord, brother, don't. I can't handle a quote from 2 chains. Oh, whew.
No,
Pull
one
up with my
sister
cylinder
said-
missing. Pull up with my cylinder missing. My fault, Donnie. I'm tripping. It's late. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
the one sister say her and her husband and family was in a parking lot. This somewhere in California, I think LA area, and I guess they enjoying the day. I don't know what's going on. A police officer comes up to her husband while they minding their business in the park and says, "You fit the description of somebody that just robbed. That was in a robbery." And minding their business, wife, kids, everybody in there. That was the first one. And the other one reminded me of another brother in LA said he was driving. He was driving like I don't know what kind of car, like like a Trans Am Corvette or something, you know, nice car. And he riding, the police riding up on his bumper. You know, they harassed him. So, you know, he scoot up, they run up on his bumper. So of course they pull him over. So they pull him over, give him a ticket, tell him you was speeding. He was like, "You speeding? I'm trying to stop you from running in the back of my car." So he go to court, and what they tell him was him trying to fight the ticket. For him to be able to even get a court date to fight the ticket, he has to pay the whole fine up front before he can even get a court date to even fight this something that the police did to him. So that's what I'm saying. The system is rigged, and it just says how they need to. They got too many loopholes to do what they want to do to you. Mm-hmm. So that's that they done bother people just minding their business, or they created those situations, which was probably like your man said. They might have a quota coming up, so you the random dude, so we gonna throw it on you.
It's crazy, man. Can you imagine that though? A quota to lock black people up, to go into a community and just it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's how they operate every day. And you never see them out there when the joker is speeding, you know, going through traffic, through cars, acting a fool. I ain't seen the police yet chasing one of them. But you mind your business and you 5 miles over the speed limit, and they pulling you over. They never there. When a crime that speaks on the whole problem that, you know, they're not there to protect you from crime. I've never seen a cop there protecting somebody from a crime. All they do is come after the crime has been committed, or they create the situation to try to clean it up or to file the paperwork. Police don't keep you safe. Right. My response to fixing that is give everybody a gun. I don't know if you I told you my favorite Western what's that oh god damn, I forgot the name of the joint. Everybody got a gun. Let's go back to the wild West days. Every strap walking around, and I think that would make them slow down a little bit when they come approaching people, when they know
that's right.
That right to defend yourself.
I wanted to ask you this before we close out. Your thoughts on this. Deshaun Watson, we're going to do a little bit of sports. I'm not sure if you guys know. He just signed a major contract, but the organization is in disarray. They got rid of his best receiver for no reason. Then they fired the coach. He wanted. They actually said that he could be involved in some of the decision making, or at least know what's going on, and they listen to his advice. So they got a committee of people, and they went out to look for the best candidate that the Houston Texans should hire. And I believe they all came back minorities. Louis Riddick is a ESPN analyst. He was one of them. They mentioned a couple more. Deshaun Watson knew about this, and they didn't hire those people. So he's already getting frustrated. One, they were the best people, so did you not hire them because they were black? Number two, I think he wanted them to at least look at a black coach, look at him, and he wanted it's the two best offensive coordinators right now in the league on the Super Bowl. That is, help me out here, the Kansas City Chiefs coordinator and Tampa Bay. They both black, and they didn't even look or want to interview him. Now I'm a Raven fan. They hired a black brother, so shout out to him. I'm glad he has received the chance to do it, and I know he's probably going to do a good job because he's probably been fighting to show he can coach. But look at his resume. The Baltimore Ravens passing attack is one of the worst in the league. He's the wide receivers coach. He's 65. Like, how did he even get in the room with his resume? Now, he may be a great coach. I'm hoping he is, and I'm pretty sure he is. But there were other qualified candidates, and the brother's 65. Deshaun Watson's what, 25? That means he probably got 5 years with this head coach. It's not a longevity move. Brett Favre and Dick Vermeil, two guys that, I would say I don't know if they're racist or not. From how they deal with black players, Brett Favre especially, I don't know anybody that said he was a racist. They seem to like him. But we all have our own political views. They both came at Deshaun Watson pretty much saying that, sometimes you get paid this money, you should just do your job. But I also remember when Brett Favre was playing in the league and he threatened to retire 4 or 5 times. I also remember him saying he thinks Aaron Rodgers won't be in Green Bay long. So I'm looking at Dick Vermeil, who's probably, 80 in the 80s. I can kind of think that he has a different outlook towards things. But in this day and time, for both of them to come out against Deshaun Watson, I think out of anybody in the league, Deshaun Watson should go up. Now, I'm a Lamar Jackson guy. I think Lamar's a great quarterback. I think Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. But you trying to tell me if Deshaun Watson wasn't on either one of them teams, they wouldn't be nice? I think Deshaun Watson was probably ranked higher than all of them coming out of college. He won a college championship. He was the truth. His college coach said he was the next Jordan. So for them to mess up his career with that terrible management that they're doing, and for him to say, look, I don't want to be here. You're wasting my career. And for them to say he should shut up. It's kind of like saying just shut up and dribble. Donnie, what are your thoughts on that first? I'm going to let you go. Do you think that was racism or ignorance?
How about both? Yeah, I don't really have a opinion on it. I gave up on professional sports a while ago. I think it all. I mean, it's modern day slavery. They put you on the slave block and call that draft.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. You gave up on sports. The Washington that bad, brother. The Washington football team did you that bad.
Hey, they so bad they didn't even get a team a name. That's how much he didn't feel enough about the city to give it a name.
Oh, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. I had to throw that jab at Jay Rich.
Listen, I might come back when he get a team a name. Until then, I can't support this dude. He's just too ignorant for me. Well, yeah, I just think look at that. That don't even have a name on it. Yeah. No emblem or nothing.
Racism. But no, go ahead, Donnie. My bad. Go ahead. But you were saying you think it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both. I mean, we getting a little bit done now, and it's only because of this whole a fluid aftermath that we've been going through, this Black Lives Matter. So we only getting the foot in the door now because they feel a little guilty. So some of them feel a little guilty. So we making little headways and stuff, and they're gonna start giving us little trivial stuff like Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. We're gonna get these little symbolism type of stuff, and yeah, every now and again one of us might make it into executive position, but for overall they don't want us there, and every chance they're not gonna fail to show us that, and I'll leave it at that.
What are your thoughts on that, brother J. Rich?
I think that Deshaun Watson needs to come to Washington or Pittsburgh. Period. That's what I think. I think it's time for him to leave. His time there, man, it's been great. It's been fun. Had a ball. Now it's time to roll out. The NFL has like this fake Rooney Rule or ineffective Rooney Rule, and by all means, I will say that I think that it was geared under good intentions, but it's turned into like you know what I mean. You just got to bring in at least one black or Hispanic guy, you know what I mean, and interview him, you know what I mean, and pretty much waste his time before you go and hire another coach.
Hold your thought real quick, Jay Rich, because which is really bad. The NFL put in a policy that if you promote, if you have black coaches or you hire a black coach or one of your black coaches is promoted, you get special benefits. The Ravens got some picks for that black coach getting hired. But my thing is it that bad? Because they're still not hiring, that you don't want to better your team.
Yes, it
and
is
get some.
bad.
That's crazy. But go ahead.
You know why I say it's that bad? Because we're sitting here. We've been the top players, the top producers in the NFL. We've been the money makers of the NFL for how many years now? We're talking about 20, 30, 40 years now. You know what I mean? We've been the money makers of the NFL, but we're just talking about them hiring coaches. We're not talking about ownership. So yeah, it is that bad. Because talking about ownership, you don't even get a seat at the table. You don't even get that opportunity to talk about buying into a team. You know what I mean? We're just sitting here talking about who's going to manage their team, who's going to coach their team. You know what I mean? And even when we were talking about coaching their team, you know what I mean? It's just like you have to put in rules in place, you know what I mean, that everybody gets an opportunity to at least get interviewed at running, you know what I mean, at coaching their team.
What was the owner that said you can't let the prisoners run the asylum?
I think that was Tennessee.
And
that was Tennessee. He was also the same.
I think that's the mindset. I think that's the mindset of the owners. They don't think that a black man can control his own and be a manager or a business partner. I think they're so far out the loop of that, like you say, they respect you as a coach or whatever, but they don't have any
I don't think that they respect you as a coach. I don't. These are the same people that in the 70s and 80s that said that black people were not smart enough, you know what I mean, to be a quarterback. So if it's not the same owner, you have to realize it's their son that is taking over.
Hold your thought.
Some of these teams got sold, but for the most part, it went from the owner to the children. And the children seen the way that he ran the team, and they may want to go this direction or go that direction, but they still have it instilled in their minds that we are not smart enough. So it doesn't make a difference how much money Bob Johnson or whoever, Jordan and Magic, can come up with. They're not letting you buy a football team. You know what I mean? They're not letting you at the table. They're not even considering.
You said something. You said something I want you to touch on. Both of y'all, Donnie, you can touch on it. You said something that we were not smart enough to be a quarterback. Now you look around. Is there a narrative about this? What is the highest paid position in football is the quarterback, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
The only position really that the black person doesn't dominate in football is probably lineman, maybe tight end or quarterback. The highest paid position. Lamar Jackson, I'm going to use him for example. When you growing up coaching, the best football teams have black quarterbacks more likely. You put your best athlete at quarterback, you teach him how to throw. The first thing they say is he can't throw, so he can't be a quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson can do both, but Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, they're both quarterbacks that are mobile. And I'm looking at Lamar Jackson, I see a Randall Cunningham. I look at Deshaun Watson, I see a Doug Williams, a Warren Moon. I see Patrick Mahomes as a brother that's on his own, but they're still creating that narrative whenever there's a black quarterback that is something wrong with them. Lamar Jackson, first they said he couldn't throw. Now they're saying something else, or he can't win a playoff game. Or Deshaun Watson, he's not this kind of guy, whatever the case may be. What's up with the narrative of the quarterback? Because if you really look at it, Lamar Jackson winning a lot of games. Deshaun Watson's on a bad team. They went. Mahomes could be considered the greatest. But look at all the other quarterbacks that aren't that good making the money. What's the quarterback that just got traded? Jared Goff? What's the other one? Jared Goff got traded for the quarterback in Detroit.
For Matt Stafford.
Both
for Matt Stafford.
Both making millions of dollars.
Hold on. Let me hold on. Rex Grossman.
Oh Lord.
The worst quarterback in probably an NFL. I can't think of a worse quarterback than him other than McDonald. You know what I mean? Cost us a Super Bowl. But Rex Grossman.
Hold on. You ever heard of Kyle Bowler? He's the worst quarterback ever. It's Kyle Bowler.
No. Rex Grossman have multiple games of 5 or 6 interceptions and then get in front of the camera and be like, you knew what I was going to do. This is what I do. And still, even after when he left, didn't he leave Denver to go to Chicago? Shanahan got rid of him in Denver. He went to Chicago. He was horrible in Chicago. Colin Kaepernick, the media picked up on Colin Kaepernick. Miami, Tua went down with an injury, and they had their choice. They could have went and got Kaepernick. And they was just like, nah, I'm going to bring in the guy that averages more interceptions than touchdowns every season. And he got a job.
It's crazy.
The Redskins brought him in. He got a job. This dude went to I don't know how many teams, and he was not a winning quarterback on any of them that I can remember. Do you ever remember Rex Grossman being a winner? Not even in college, my man. Even in college.
I think he was. He went to Michigan, didn't he?
That's even worse. That right there lets you know he was a loser from the very start.
I'm trying to help you out, Rex. I'm trying to help you out with. It's hard to fight for you.
A Michigan quarterback. Oh, Lord.
Well, you know what? It goes deeper. How many besides Ozzie Newsome, how many black GMs are in football right now?
I can't think of any other ones. I know there's a few more, but I don't know who they are. That's what I mean. But again, we're still talking about managerial jobs, man.
Right.
We're not talking about an owner.
Well, I want to go into that because that's the next phase. Because we went from quarterback, now we at GM, and why it's so important. For us to have people in those positions. Shannon Sharp was talking to Ozzie Newsome on his podcast, and he was like, how did I respect you, Ozzie, the players respect you, and Ozzie was like, this is what I tell him. Yo, you can still play, but this is all the money I can give you. I need you to go out there and make as much money as possible. And if it don't work out, then we can talk. But the goal of this game is to make your money. And if I feel like at this particular point, this is as much money and you can go somewhere else, Terrell Suggs, I'm not going to let you even look at this contract. You need to go and make that money. He's telling young brothers. He was talking about Jimmy Smith. And Jimmy Smith had personal problems. And he was saying, you need to get yourself together. I know you can do it. Or you ain't going to be here long. But when you have a young black player making money, they can look up to not only a GM, but somebody that was one of the, I think one of the greatest players ever to play the game, and respect that. We don't have that in, decision making or anybody to talk to us. So, like you say, and I guess you're right. It goes over that to ownership. We don't have any owners, so it's the time to start our own league.
Yeah.
Been time for that. It's
Yeah.
been time. That's the reason
all
why
this
Dr.
time
J had to get off the air. And that first NBA player strike, he said, I don't know why the players even striking. They got enough money to start their own league. Next thing you know, NBC dropped them.
And didn't Dr. J get into something for saying that?
That's what I'm saying. They dropped him.
Was it Dr. J?
You ain't seen him commentate a game ever since he made that comment. Like, why they striking? Just go and start your own league.
Dr. J was the one that said that?
Yes.
Dang, I knew that. That's crazy. But look, we've been on here for a while. I'm gonna let y'all close out. Donnie, I'm gonna go with you first, and I don't want you waiting on Jay Rich. You know how that brother is. Just give the people some words of wisdom, and you gotta plug in your YouTube channel, both of y'all. So you can go first.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for having me on. My channel is Donnie Goes In on YouTube. Donnie Goes In on all social media. My channel is about uplifting Black people, Black talk, Black relationships, Black love, having fun, and uplifting our people. So come check me out. I would say our people, it's time for us to remember who we are. We are the creators. We are the first to inhabit this planet. Everywhere I step our foot on is ours. And everything that has been created of substance that I know of was at the hands of one of our brothers or sisters. So we as a people just need to remember who we are. We the greatest that ever did it. Nobody's done it before us, and nobody's done it better than us. And I think when we start teaching our kids that it's nothing they can't do, we don't have any limitations. We are not the minorities. We're the majorities of people on this planet. So we need to start acting like it. We need to start, like we said earlier, we need to start protecting our women. They need to feel protected. They need to know that if anybody raise a hand to a Black woman, that they're always going to be a Black man there to come back to finish it. So once we come and to this place that belonging of our own as being the rulers of this world, being the originators of everything fly. Everybody wants to be like us. Everybody wants Black culture. You'll find it around the world. Everybody wants to be us, wants our culture, but for some reason hate us because they ain't us. So it's time for us to be the best Black people, be the best African first, be the best race first, be the best people that we can be, so we can raise our people and come out of this colonial system that has done nothing but oppress us as a people. So peace and love to the family. Thanks for having me on. Donnie Goes In on YouTube. Thank you.
Oh wow, appreciate you as always, Donnie. I don't know if you saw one of my latest shows that you closed it out. You was flowing. Did you see that one?
Which one was that about?
I don't know. I'm doing so many. I don't even shoot.
Hey, I can't keep up with you. You're doing like 4 shows a day.
It was something, and you were. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it to you. Go ahead, Jay Rich. Go ahead.
And I think we just need to get back to bringing the Black family together at all costs. Sometimes we have to make sacrifices for our children, so our children can know what a Black family is, what a family home, a functional family is. Show them what love is. Show them what it is to have both parents. Show them what it is to show your sons what it is like to love a mother. Show our daughters what a mother is like. Loving a father. Too many times we see our youth get in situations where they get pregnant, have a child, and they don't even know how to really deal with each other. So they don't know how to raise a child. We just keep, reproducing that same old generation of broken homes. Seriously joking on YouTube, on Facebook. give us a holler. You know what I mean? It's all about the upliftment of like the black community. I'm about to start up my own another channel called Blickety Black Black, where all we do is just, you know what I mean, do reviews of strip clubs. Yeah. No, I'm just joking with you. Yeah. No, man, we got to come together, man. We got to come together, and because if not, then we're just going to stay in this situation, and the situation is only getting worse. The situation is only getting worse through forced abortions, through sterilization of our women, through inoculation of drugs into our young men that are making them impotent and feel more feminine, producing female hormones, making them think that they're trapped in the wrong body. There are so many dangerous things that are going on in our community that are happening specifically to us for specific reasons, that if we do not come together and stop it, that it's only going to get worse. And the end goal is to stop our reproduction altogether, because they can't get rid of us unless, you know what I mean, they can stop our reproduction. And believe me, they're hitting you with everything that they possibly can, from vaccines to poisons in your water. But if you allow it to continue to happen because you say that this person is a Christian, that person is a Muslim, this person is an atheist, so on and so forth, and you let your own personal beliefs get in the way of like the end goal is our own freedom. The end goal is us to have equality. The end goal is for us to have our own. And if you can't see that, then you're part of the problem. You know, if you're using anything other than, you know what I mean, us first to achieve what it is that we want, then you're a part of the problem. And you need to check yourself, and, you know what I mean, come on in, man. We got a lot of love for you, and we're gonna set you straight. That's it. I'm out.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all as always. Let me close out by just saying this one thing, that, man, black people, we love you. Please hit that subscribe button, and you know, just show us some love, and just keep doing what you're doing. Love a black person. Stay strong. And I know we're going through crazy times, but just unite. We're gonna be okay. We just unite, and we are out of here, man. Peace and blessings. Y'all gotta get yourselves one of these.
Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community.
Hold on. Let me hit him with this, J. Rich. You know I got stun on you before I end this show, J. Rich.
Health.
The logo.